saw you, Carlton.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers.
Wa alaikum salam, brother Carlton. How you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah,
Hope you
glad to
all
hear.
doing well. Hope you all also doing well.
Yes, sir. All
We are
is well.
live, brother, on all platforms right now. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to get started here. Let me pop in as soon as I. Huh, there we go. Let's see. Okay. Peace and welcome to We Must First Be Brothers. Welcome all of our brothers on our call and all of those of you who are listening in the Facebook and YouTube audiences. I want to start by with our salutation in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that He made His divine intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise I ever due. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is His risen Messiah. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is His servant and divine reminder and present day warner amongst us. I greet you, my brothers on our call, and those in the listening audience, and our people who may be listening from wherever you are, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, the language of our forefathers, of Assalamu alaikum. In English, it simply means peace be unto you. Again, we welcome you to another very insightful, significant, really a declaration um, of we must first be brothers. So before we go anywhere today, brothers, I want to make something very clear, that the black man was designed to be a protector, a provider, a pillar. Every system, every policy, every movement we discussed today had one primary target: us. Strip away his authority, remove him from his home, silence him in the community, and once he falls, the family falls with him. That's the blueprint. That is what we're here to expose tonight. And let me be clear for our sisters who are listening, we're not here to attack women. This is not a woman bashing program, because we understand that there's no such thing as a no good woman. For there, where there is a no good woman, it was a no good man that made her this way. And that man wasn't, incidentally, from the broader scope, your man, but it was the system controlled by an entirely different man that has made all of us like he has made us today. So I want to start with the original assault, the original assault on the Black family. The Black woman's feminist movement was born directly out of the white woman's feminist agenda. That is the root. What came with it was the promotion of competition with Black men, the hatred of Black men, the production of criminal minded children, the fueling of the prison industrial complex, the false freedom of Black women, the acceptance of homosexual men friendship for Black women, the normalization of indecency, the hypersexualization of Black women. And one thing I would say is ask yourself this: where are those so called feminist women, white or Black, when today's modern musical artists, our sisters are standing naked on every stage, marked as hoes, strippers, and freaks. Songs like there's some hoes in this house. Where are the feminist activists? Where's the cry? Where's the concern and the advocacy? The silence is deafening. Feminism never protected Black women. It positioned them against Black men. And the first casualty of the feminist agenda was the Black man's authority in his home. In 1960, the enemy came bearing gifts. The second wave of feminism arrived, hand in hand with false liberalism and government policies. The welfare system became the weapon, and I like to call it the weapon of mass destruction. It incentivized Black women to feel independent from their men. It created a loyalty, a dangerous loyalty to the white male power structure, dressed up as government support. The welfare system did not just fund single mothers, it defunded the Black man's position. Think over that, brothers. In our families, all men are dogs. You can't trust a man. Black men are cheaters. The deadbeat dad narratives. Independent woman gave language to the assault. Black men already denied fair employment and economic justice now carried a label that justified the system's heavy hand against them. The feminist movement took direct aim at the Black man as a protector. Black men stood up and said, hey, we're gonna cover our woman. And the feminist movement called that controlling. The Black woman was used to neutralize the protector, while the system dismantled the provider. Both roles gone. And here is the contradiction. They never addressed Black women spent generations raising white women's children, keeping white women's homes. Feminism made that same nurturing role look degrading when a Black woman was told to apply it to her own family. Feminism is the whisper of the white woman into the ears of the Black woman. Now, this is a very, very engaging introduction, and I want us to really pay attention because we laying a foundation for a very heavy discussion, because we must understand, brothers, that warfare has been waged, that we are really suffering from this warfare that has been waged against our families. So feminism is the whisper into the ear of the Black woman, and the Black family has paid a dear price. Black women carry the Democratic Party on their backs, while that same party funds the policies that removed Black men from the homes. The data tells the story. Black women earn roughly 65% of bachelor's degrees and 70% of master's degrees awarded to Black people. The education is there. The strength is there. And yet, only 35 of Black women are married. Among Black women between the ages of 35 and 44, 44% have never been married. This is warfare. This is warfare on the Black family.
Wow.
Less than 30% of Black households consist of married couples, lower than any other group in this nation. I need you to understand what feminism has done. Feminism planted a psychologically that made leaving the family unit, planted this psychological I would call like bomb, if you will, a seed that made leaving the family heroic, made women feel like they had accomplished something if they walked away from their families. Mothers now speak to their children with resentment, feeling that, they sacrificed their lives. And they did in some respect. You give up a lot as a mother, but it should never be looked upon or treated as a negative when you are doing what God put in your nature to do. But this is what feminism has produced. This is the psychology that it has produced in our community. This is what it has done to our women. This was an atom bomb blow against the Black community. And brothers, the more I've studied it, it's becoming more and more clear to me how we have to go to war against what our enemies have done to our people. The destruction of the family gets celebrated. The single mother model gets normalized. Children grow up believing their fathers were optional.
That's right.
And the Black man, the protector of his community, is left on the side of the road. This is why, brothers, we have to realize the time and what must be done. Black men as protectors, we get written out of the story altogether. You notice how the praise is always given to the mother, and this is not hateful. This is okay, because I love my mother. I love her. May God be pleased with her. This is not an anti-woman rant. This is a point we're trying to make to help you understand what the enemy has done to our community to destroy a very significant and important relationship with the Black man, and what he has done using the weaponized feminism that he financed. The church. Oh yeah, church is complicit. This is gonna be a heavy hit, so just rock with your brother a little bit, because we got a lot we want to go over. We really planting the seed. This is really, really part one of this discussion. There's no way that we're gonna get through all of what we need to really explore and address to our community in this show tonight. This is really part one, brothers, believe me. And it's really gonna require that we do more than just show up for the call, but go and study what we're talking about.
That's
Get
right.
in, as Brother Lewis would say, in fighting shape. Get ready to understand what's really happening, so we can stop fighting emotional battles against the system. So we can understand how to go to war, what punches to throw against this beast and the system that is destroying our families and our children. This is our responsibility. But taking responsibility is not just a good catchphrase. You have to understand what it is that we need to do in order to effectively and properly take responsibility, my brothers. The compromised Black church, and notice what I said, compromised, sits at the center of this failure. Post-slavery, the Black church held moral authority. No secret in our communities. It called out sin. I remember even coming up, just as a side piece, it was a time you would feel guilty if you were sinning. You know what I'm saying? You go to church, the preacher would preach on sin.
That's right.
Preacher don't preach on sin today.
That's right.
Sin talk is out the door. And some say, well, that's old fashioned. That don't have any relevance. It has every bit of relevance when you talk about morality and what helps to strengthen a family and a community. The Black church at one time, it protected the family structure. That church is gone. Government money flooded the mega churches. Preachers took the payoff. When the gay marriage agenda arrived through the Obama administration, Black preachers stood at the pulpit. Some of us remember this, and used the Bible and the word love to justify it, to justify the agenda of the Democratic Party, to justify it because of an insatiable need and desire to see a black man become president compromise the morality, to go against what God said right in the scripture. So now homosexuality now lives in our music, in our schools. Our children have to go to school and be exposed to homosexuality. I think it was in California, I was listening or reading something where, New York, I think it was, well, the transgenders were given over 200 and some 50,000, some type of enormous amount of money in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to go into the schools to read, a reader program. This is supposed to help create a social justice and fairness for transgenders. Think over this. Think over this, brothers. I know some of you might be, I don't know what on this call. I know we got soldiers on the call, but I'm not afraid to say what I'm saying right now. That's the problem. We become too compromised, too afraid to call out what we disagree with, as if we have to agree with these beasts. We have to agree with what they put in front of us. The compromise is what's killing our children. All right, I know it's kind of heated, but we're going to get through this. Our food supplies are filled with chemicals that deliberately reduce testosterone. This is warfare, which has disconnected Black men from their natural masculine identity. This might be why you're questioning your sexuality, brother. It might be the soy and other chemicals that you're eating that's causing you to think crazy thoughts about your sexual identity. This is a mad scientist we're dealing with. When the Black church surrendered its moral authority, Black men lost their last institutional defense at that time. But it goes even deeper. The deepest wound demands we speak directly, brothers. And that is the abuse and molestation of our children. Go back and look at the flyer. We talked about feminism, homosexuality, and pedophilia. We're hitting every one of these points, and this is just an outline. The abuse and molestation of our children has been swept under the rug in the Black community for far, far, far too long. And the numbers confirm it. What we already know in our bones, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys experience childhood sexual abuse nationally. I'm gonna read that again because in my notes. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys, this is in our community, man, experience childhood sexual abuse nationally.
Wow.
And researchers confirm that the actual rates run significantly higher. Because, they won't tell. Black children carry disproportionate or shares of documented abuse cases. Black communities report lower rates because shame and loyalty to family silences the family, and therefore protecting the predators that exist sometimes right in our own household. Most of the time, the abusers sit at the family table. Uncles, this is heavy, cousins, brothers, fathers. I have one of the principles in We Must First Be Brothers in the book talk about how a brother's children should be safe, how we should provide safety for the children. The little girl should be safe. But if you got men in the family, and hell, nowadays, even women abusing our children,
yes,
something deeply psychologically wrong with us. This is a very important topic. Unfortunately, we don't talk about these things enough, but we're not sweeping anything under the rug. Today, we airing it out. with the help of Allah. This happens inside of our homes, and our silence protects the predators. The digital assault mirrors the physical one. Online predatory content tripled in a single year. Listen at this, brothers. Rising from 651,527 documented cases in 2023 to over 2 million in 2024. Registered sex offenders in this country approach 800,000 nationwide in 2024. And those are only the ones that the system has caught. Now listen at this. This is to our pedophilia discussion here. Now there's a push inside psychology, inside academia, to normalize this evil entirely. Must I remind us of Jeffrey Epstein? Must I remind you how easy they have really gone on that case? How they've hid so many people who were involved? That's just the tip of the iceberg. Try to shadow it with our little ignorant brother, Sean Combs, and his little sickness, his little perversion. Want to make that the poster child when these demons have been raping children systematically, organizationally, using organizations that are to protect children. I heard there's something recently about the CPS, the lady that was over the CPS, something allegedly that she was involved in helping to pipeline children over to these demons. We got to go to war, black man. We must first be brothers. We must first be punks, faggots, and cowards. We got to become the kind of men that will stand up for what we believe, stand up with principles and integrity and some backbone today. That may not be for everybody, but like they say, all we need is a few good soldiers. Listen, this movement seeks to reframe it, the attraction to children, Brother Lewis. I think we talked about this. They want to reframe the attraction to children as a sexual orientation. Researchers now report this reframing is gaining traction in certain academic circles. The normalization of pedophilia follows the exact same path feminism carved out, which dismantled moral structure, redefined deviance as identity, and used academic language to make evil sound reasonable. This agenda has its eye on our children. As we close this opening and this introduction, as I said, this is part one. We pull back these layers to identify the attack and to offer the solutions. The restoration of the Black family starts with the Black man stepping fully into our role as protectors unapologetically. We cannot be pumped out by the feminist, or as my brother would say, the feminazi movement of our enemy. The Black man, our community needs us. Present, conscious, and uncompromising. The restoration of the family starts the movement. To be a protector that this system spent 100 years trying to remove, we must make our communities decent, safe places to live. We must first be brothers. And so there we start our talks tonight. And hopefully we have set a tone that has penetrated our mind in such a way that has really kind of provided a little bit of sobering, maybe a little bit of a shake-up. But today we're gonna find out, Allah willing, if we got testicles. We gotta stop this thing, brother, where we on the internet and all we arguing about is philosophical ideas when we need to be looking at what's going on with our community. We need to know what's producing the degeneracy that's in our community, what's causing our people to be on display all over the world, really as savage. The civilization of the Black man in America is not being represented. And as I said in the opening, you look at our women, they're on stages. I was just looking, I said, why every singer, every song that is being sung by one of our women, she has to be on stage in her panties and her bra? This is a damn shame, man. Why every rap song that we listen to from our brothers, he's talking about the tearing down of his own community, and we accept this, bro?
That's right.
Why aren't we saying something about it? Because we trying to get along because he got a Bentley, got a fake Bentley propped up in front. What are we afraid of today? What do we got to lose? We're already losing everything, Black man. We have nothing to lose. We've lost everything, and we are continuously losing. If we will not develop some testicles, we too busy allowing the ego, some of the things that we talked about, the ego to manipulate us, to have us at odds with each other instead of recognizing the God that's in each other. That's the tap in today. So I'm gonna pass the baton to, I see our beloved brother J19 on the call. And praise be to Allah. And Brother Lewis, I don't know which one of you is ready to fire off right off the top. I know, Brother Lewis, this subject has been something that you have definitely
We're going to
been
hear
on
from
for many years.
J19.
We're going to hear from, absolutely. Let's go there.
Peace and blessings, brothers. Good to see everybody. It's rushing to get here. I didn't think this thing was going to even get on. I had some problems getting on, but thank y'all. Thank everybody for showing up. I appreciate Dr. Nash, Eunice, Harrison, KHJ, of course, Brother Mike, who wrote the book, We Must First Be the Guide. I consider a study guide. We must first be brothers.
Yes,
Yeah. And whoever iPhone 187 is.
that's nephews.
Yeah. But but all these issues attack the same foundation. The clear identity of men, of a man, woman, and family. Without that foundation, brotherhood remains talk, and communities cannot become safe or decent. The work begins with the man knowing himself, then relatively rightly women and children, then standing with other brothers to restore and protect. This is what you're saying when you open up, which is beautiful, open up beautiful. You know, you said that about nationally, on the feminist side, over the last 60 years, feminism moved from legal equality into ideology that often treats traditional manhood as a problem and the nuclear family as optional or oppression. Biological sex is increasingly treated as fluid, and male-female roles are framed as social constructs rather than foundational. So in the Black community, this ideology lands on the already strained family structure. It accelerates father absences, confuses male and female roles, and weakens the home as primary places where children receive identity and protection. When the woman is taught that manhood itself is the enemy, the work of rebuilding the family becomes nearly impossible. That is why the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 75% of the work would be done with the female.
Teach.
And when you speak of homosexuality nationally, it has been refrained from a private behavior. I mean, I don't care what people are doing in their bed. Who here has a problem with somebody doing inside their home in their bedroom? And into a public identity that must be celebrated and insulated from moral or cultural critique. Institutions now treat any preference for nuclear family model as outdated or bigoted. So in the Black community, the push to normalize it further erodes the expectation that men and women from stable households and raise the next generation. When the ideal of a man, woman, and children is no longer held as the standard, fewer young men see fatherhood and family leadership as their primary responsibility. The result is continued fragmentation of the Black family, and fewer protection spaces for children. So nationally, this pedophilia language is being softened, and minor attracts persons, age gap relationships. Some cultures and online spaces, they're working to lower the age of consent or treat adult sexual interest in children as another orientation rather than a predatory threat. In the Black community, Black children are already disproportionately vulnerable due to higher rates of family breakdown, single parent homes, and community instability. Any cultural softening around the protection of children implies the danger, multiplies the danger. A community that loses clarity on what a man is and what a family is also loses the moral and practical will to stand between predators and its children. One of the things I want to talk about this identity, this role identity, and these genders. You know, at one time they were talking about there was 72 different genders. Then Trump came out and said there's only 2 genders. I have to agree with him on that. But you ever notice when they having a gender reveal party, there's only 2 genders? You never see, all you ever see is either the pink smoke or the blue smoke, right?
That's
so
right.
There, and you don't see no pushback no matter who's in there. If it's whoever it is giving the gender identity party, you never see, oh, it's a boy that wants to be a girl. It's a girl that wants to be a boy. It's a cat. It's a dog. So
that's right.
These things, we really have to understand what's going on, how they're trying to socially engineer us, and how they've already funneled us into this social engineering of acceptance through the main component, as you said, this Black church. And I know Lewis and I have had many discussions on that, so I'll go ahead and throw that alley-oop to Lewis.
You know, Brother John, but before we get to Brother Lewis, because I know he's loaded, you know, and like I said, brother, I'm already telling you, this is part 1. I don't know how many times we're going to have to revisit this, but I know that we have some work to do here. You know, this is not something we can just scrape across, you know, but one of the things that in studying this, one element, when we talk about the moral responsibility of religion or faith-driven organizations, is the shaming. And we've had some conversations, brother, about this, where many of us have gotten so comfortable that we are not pushing forward shame. Shame is important in development. You know, you know what I'm saying, Brother John? Is, you know, sometimes you're on mute, but sometimes, you know, some of us in our dynamics, you know, people around us are afraid to call a spade a spade. We're afraid to challenge a thing in our household. Somebody sent me a video, or I don't know if it was one of in our little chat group or whatever, where a sister, I was actually watching it online. A sister was challenging her daughter who wanted to go and, you know, choose a lifestyle, talking about she's gonna have a woman as her woman. And the mother got online, and the mother was like, "No, you ain't." You know, the mother, I'm old school. We're not, no. She challenged her, and she challenged her in a way to expose the sickness of such a behavior. And again, I'm not attacking person. This is not a personal attack. But I am not going to allow nobody to punk me into agreeing with something that I don't agree with and that God is against. See, this is the problem today. You got some of us who are afraid to talk now because the enemy is ridiculing you because you dare stand up and say that you disagree with some mess that he put out here. Brother John, do you want to comment on that? And then we'll go to Brother Lewis.
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, I thought I made it pretty clear in what I was saying about the attack and what they're saying. We have just, I don't know what has happened. I remember growing up, men would see a boy walking down the street, and if he was showing a little more femininity than he's supposed to, walking down the streets, i.e. twisting or had his hand out, they'd blow at him and say, "Hey, what you doing?" And they straighten up. That's how I grew up. I didn't grow up with nobody saying, no one, I never seen men that I grew up with that set examples for me was like, oh, well, you know, that's how it is these days. You know, that's how they talk now. Back then, I never heard a man say about anything, in fact. It was always a line of demarcation. It was always a standard that men set. And if you went below that standard, you was called on the carpet. I don't care if it was religiously, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever it was, the men that I grew up around, that was a standard. That was a benchmark set, and the standard was Black excellence. So none of that, in my humble opinion, represents Black excellence.
And you know, and the reason it's so important that I wanted you to expound on it, because you come from, you know, one, you from the South, but you're 37, you know, we 34 and 33, you know, in terms of this age, but you know, so you're slightly more seasoned. And so I just want you to kind of expound on that, because that's relevant to morality. What has happened is there's been a degradation of morality over these times and periods. It used to be a time where you couldn't come outside a certain way as a woman. I remember the minister said he couldn't move a certain way on the stage when he was a musician. Now you can come out, women are coming out literally in panties and strings up their backside. And now people are able to come out and flame, and what they call flaming homosexuality, and get in your face and challenge grown men. You see,
when I was little, you didn't see two people in the bed together on television. They were bunk beds. You didn't see two people in the same bed. It was a woman on one side. I mean, you can go back to the Ricky Ricardo shows, Lucille Ball show. Ricky was in one bed, Lucy was in one bed. And they were they were twin beds. Even if you went back to I mean, there was no shows back then where you saw two people in the same bed. Didn't happen.
Right. Okay, Brother Lewis, let's get at it, brother. Let's get at it. You know, we've been chomping at this thing, and you know, we've been talking about this getting in fighter shape for you know, and I mean, you don't have to start here, but I just want to kind of intro this point, because like I told you today, I said I'm ready for war. You know, and I don't mean that in an unintelligent way. I'm saying, like, we have to, as Black men, literally gird up our loins. We have to put on our breastplate, brothers. We have to pick up our sword and literally stand up, go to war against this madness that's killing us. The minister gave us an initiative, an agenda: make our communities safe and decent places to live. It seems that many of us only have one-track mind about that. We just thinking about violence, but we don't realize that the violence is systemic of all of these issues that we're talking about right now. They're all tied in, they're all relevant. Starting with this feminist movement. You coined the phrase that if anybody using this phrase anywhere, this term anywhere on the planet, it came from Louis Ali in the South. And that is the term feminazi. Excuse me. But it's true, because that's what it is. It's a form of Nazism. Brother Lewis, go ahead.
Brother Michael and Brother John, y'all just covered so much. It's just a beautiful, incredible introduction. And I do want to say, I love the flyer that y'all put out advertising this.
Yes, sir.
The war on the Black family and children, a discussion on feminism, homosexuality, and pedophilia. Had I seen it, I would have only added one thing. And that would be simpism.
Ooh, come on.
The simp is a domesticated, non-territorial, non-threatening, need to grow.
Come on.
Just about eunuch.
Yes, sir.
The simp.
Teach.
This is one of these don't judge me, I don't have an opinion type need to grows that'll see you somewhere down the street, John or Brother Mike, and say, you know, you was right about that. You know, they did put crack cocaine in our community. That was in 1980s.
Right.
And I want to set the stage for what we're talking about. The war is happening because we got a man. And that man is a model that will make us into men. See, he multiplies his spirit and his energy into us. In fact, I heard the great Brother Rockman from the South. That's where I got it from. Rock from the South, who used to come and teach us FOI class, and FOI would start about 7:30, and the Rock wouldn't get off the rostrum sometime to after 1:30, and he'd be teaching us our great history and great love of the FOI, who were always on a mission. So one night he said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "I crack Farrakhan." And then he looked at him again and said, "I crack Farrakhan." And so he went into the lessons and he talked about the splitting of an atom and breaking it into 10,000 particles. Little brother Lewis from the South believes that that means that there will be 10,000 fearless that will be filled with the spirit of Farrakhan.
Come on. Come on.
Now, Minister Farrakhan said, there's no death for Farrakhan. See? So we don't have to worry. He's put something in us that we are to do a work. And the work ain't just in Louisiana or America. The work is throughout 196,940,000 square miles. I want to see if I can trigger some memories, Brother Mike.
Come on.
There was a movie that came out. They called it The Color Purple.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was written by, I believe, Allison Walker. And she wrote this novel in a small hat. I mean, a member of the so-called Jewish community named Spielberg turned it into a movie and edited it and added his parts onto that. The Color Purple is the national Black woman's anthem of movies.
Come on.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan seen what they were trying to do and did a lecture series, which I would advise everybody to go back and watch. It was in the 80s.
Yeah, powerful. I remember.
The Meaning of the Color Purple, I think, was the title of it.
Yes, sir.
Well, in this Color Purple in the 80s, we were not conscious enough at the time to really dissect what the feminazis were uniting with the small heads, what they were doing to socially engineer us into pure hatred for Black men. Now, I come from a family that was involved in the civil rights activist family, you know, type background. And my grandmother was the queen of oral history. During the 1940s and 30s and 20s, Black women did not like white men.
That's
in fact,
right.
They hated Black men.
Hated white men. Yes, sir.
Excuse me. They hated white men. Thank you for the correction.
Yes, sir.
They didn't like Caucasians because they knew that Caucasians raped and mistreated Black women. But the real reason why Black women hated them is because of what they did to their sons and their husbands.
Teach.
So we were breeding a militant Black man. This is why when World War II veterans came home, they brought their rifles home. This is where your deacons of defense come from. This is where that too black, too strong type notion that Malcolm X talked about came from. See, it's your women that manufacture the saviors.
Teach, brother.
It is the Black woman that really makes you militant and ambitious.
Teach.
It is the Black woman that made us make all of this progress when we were building Black Wall Streets in every city. The fuel that fueled our ambition was the voices of Black women saying, "You can do it, baby. Thank you, baby. Your father built this. Help your father." That's how Black women were talking in the 1920s and 1930s, 1940s, coming off the plantation. This is why the family was so tight and we could sleep with our doors open. And this is why in that documentary, it's on, if they ain't take it off of YouTube, How to Sell the Negroes.
Yes.
They were talking about how fast the fastest growing economy, not in America, in the world, was the Black American economy. And so they met at Stanford and at Berkeley. And there's a social engineering camp down in Tennessee called the Highlander Group. They met there and they started concocting a way to steal the Black American economy because the white American economy was dying. It was dying a natural death because it was stale, and white children were attracted to Black athletes and Black musicians, which means that they migrated down to the Black business districts to listen to Black entertainment. I'm going to get to what we're talking about, but just bear
You're on
with
it. You're laying the foundation, brother. We following. Go ahead. You're doing well.
So what they done was they took the word miscegenation, which was a dirty word because after the Civil War, Black politicians wrote and lobbied for miscegenation laws, laws that punish people for race mixing, okay? Because they did that in response to the number of Black women that were being raped. It was not the Caucasian that didn't want race mixing. It was us that didn't want race mixing.
Come on.
That's a major fact, brother.
Major fact.
And so they couldn't use the word miscegenation, so they switched the word from miscegenation to integration. We had never heard of that word down south, but they done it in Berkeley, and they came up with the FICO score, Fair Housing, Fair Isaac score, what you call FICO score today, because we were not going to banks to build these communities. We were pooling our resources together in order to build it. We couldn't go in a bank and get no money at that time. I'm saying that to get to why the degeneracy.
Yeah.
Once we fell victim to integration, which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, knowing the tricks of the devil, he warned us continually against integration. Once we integrated and the nation eventually fell, and it was hypocrites inside of our nation that signed off on integration. I'm sorry, I just got to say it. When we integrated in our house, that's when Black America started falling for integration. It's really evil to betray a whole nation, you know?
Yes.
I don't want to call names, but I want to stay on point. Once we did that, the nation fell. Minister Farrakhan is the first man to ever create a mass movement under integration. None of the other Black organizations have been able to do it because of the poison of integration. And so when they started seeing Minister Farrakhan make progress, isn't it interesting? The Color Purple came out the same year that Muammar Gaddafi loaned the Nation of Islam $5 million interest-free money.
Yes.
When Minister Farrakhan got that $5 million, they immediately knew they had to do something to stop the minister. So they put crack cocaine. That's when they started introducing the Black community to crack cocaine. We had never seen nothing like crack before. Because crack cocaine bought in, it ended Black excellence and bought in what we've labeled Black degeneracy. This is gonna sting.
Come on.
But even the way we have sex
Dog.
is not the way we had sex in the 60s or 70s. They introduced us to a different type of, it's almost like crack cocaine sex.
Yeah.
Because the mother who would never do nothing like that, we would see her on the corners wanting the pipe so bad until she would do any filthy and degenerate thing that the crack dealer asked her to do just to get that rock. And so it started socializing us in a way that we would accept filth and indecency. See, Brother John brings up a good point. You couldn't be a homophile when we were young. You notice
That's
I said,
right.
I didn't say homosexual. I said
That's right.
homophile.
Mhm.
You're being socially engineered, not just to like a man, you're being socially engineered to you really want a little boy.
Teach.
You want a little girl.
Teach.
You're not just a pedophile, you're a homophile.
Teach.
You want to use it, makes it some kind of power struggle that you have to get your hands on some little children and even animals. Black people didn't have dogs on the inside of their homes sucking down a bowl of bean soup or some chicken or something at the table with them. Now you see Black people with dogs in their home. We, the Muslims, answer the phone. Yes, may I help you? But you got something you might hear. Oof, oof, oof. What is that? Oh,
Come
man,
on.
I got a dog in here.
Come on.
Brother, we, the Muslims, take our shoes off when we walk through the door to keep bacteria and fungus and disease out.
Come on.
If you got a big old Labrador or Pit Bull or German Shepherd or Rock Walker, or your sister, you coming down the street with a dog in the purse, calling yourself a mom dog. I'm
Carrying and pushing them in strollers.
Got the dog in a little stroller. See, all of this came from that Black degeneracy after the crack cocaine hit and people being silent about it. They pushed the men out. The strong men were pushed out of the church. Anybody who was what they call too judgmental, and that could be Professor Griff with Public Enemy.
Yes, right.
Or any other strong that wants to hold a strong Black moral line. Moral line.
Come on.
That person there is pushed out. Sadly
Come on.
to say, they even did it in some mosque and study groups.
Yes, sir.
If you held a Black moral strong line, you don't belong in here. A line that holds us to a standard, you don't belong in here. And everywhere the minister went to preach, they would tell the so-called need to grow leaders, we'll give you some money, but you can't have Farrakhan over here. Why? What did he do? He held a strong Black moral line.
That's right.
And so the last point, Brother Michael, I got to say this, that color purple. When you see the color purple, you see old Mister.
Mister.
Old Mister. He's a Black man riding on a white horse, molesting little girls. Well, when my grandmother would tell me oral history, it wasn't a Black man riding on a white horse. When they would hear white men coming down the street, Black women would run to the woods or jump in ditches. Because if the white man seen them, he may try to rape them. It wasn't the Black man that was known as the rapist. It was the white man that was always known as the rapist.
Absolutely.
But once Steven Spielberg put this color purple out, all of a sudden, it's like they swap places. The Black man is the face of raping the Black women. White men, we got all these mixed looking people around here, yet, and deadbeat white dads, yet that was flushed out with the color purple. Then you bring Suge in. He has a good Black woman who keeps the house clean, cooks food, got all of his clothes, everything organized, shaved the man. He don't want that good Black woman. He don't want her with that natural hair. He wants this complete harlot that's a lesbian, creeped up in his house and kissed his wife on the lips and poisoning her, and he's abusive as hell. Hell, if I was a black woman and I watched something like that, maybe I'd come out and be angry also. But today we got, the minister exposed it then, but today we got to expose the game. Because here's, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to stop so we can open up this conversation.
Oh, you're doing fine. Take your time.
What they don't want to see a morally competent black man. I didn't say perfect. I said morally competent, who has a moral compass, who can guide his family, drive his family down the street and get to the destination. A morally competent black man with a morally competent black woman.
Absolutely.
Making a black family. So just like you said, Brother Michael, the idea is to keep this magnetic and this electronic energy from coming together, fusing to create the explosion of families in our community.
Absolutely.
If we have a model man and a model family. Minister Farrakhan's beautiful family. Every time I think about all of those beautiful pictures of the minister and Mother Khadijah and the Nation of Islam, what a beautiful family we've become.
You know,
but
brother,
they put this hate label on us to keep people away from, as Mother Tynetta would say it, and I'll stop. She said, I want to show the beauty of Islam. The beauty of Islam. What a beautiful family the minister made and is making with us. Look at how good and how clean even the brothers, we're not perfect, but look at how beautiful and upstanding the brothers are, Brother Michael.
And brother Lewis, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and Brother John both, you know, and everything, how this thing is unfolding, because I literally have been studying really very deeply on this subject that I believe has been laid upon us to engage for over the last week, or actually since Friday, might have been last Friday, you know. And after I made the flyer, went online, didn't realize that it was a controversy going on online with this transformer brother called Saucy Santana, who said, women want to F me, men want to F me, and kids want to F me. You know, brothers, listen.
No. Say that again. Say that again for the people in the back, Brother Mike. Can you hear me? Where's Brother Michael? John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Lewis.
For some reason, Brother Michael went mute. I don't know if they want. I want to hear him say that one again.
I don't know what happened to him. He got kicked off. I got kicked off a couple of times myself. So yeah. No, but what Mike said was, which I didn't know, been kind of away. And Saucy Santana said, women want to, there you go, Mike.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother John. You was right on point, though. You know, absolutely. And pardon me, brothers, I thumbed my way off.
Can you repeat it again?
This Transformers, I will call him, because he's definitely not transferred anything about his gender. He's just a man cosplaying. And we need to understand that. And I know that's a little added point. But anyway, this man, so-called artist named Saucy Santana, recently stated, which has gone viral, that women want to F me, men want to F me. This is quote, and kids want to F me. And this has gone viral all over the internet, which it should, for the reasons that it was completely foul and the height of degeneracy. See, there's a passion in my heart. I just have to be very frank, and I'm trying to throttle this thing, brothers, because I feel like we need to get a boot and we have to kick, and pardon the expression, but we have to kick ass right now. The soldier that's in any of us, if there's any masculinity left in any brother, it is time to stand up, man. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he has testicles. You see, once you start getting deeper into the study of the attack of the enemy, then you start to have a greater appreciation for a man that helps to make you a man. I was studying today and I was thinking over the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, how much of a man. This is what the world has stripped us of. So the book of Genesis, it says, speaking of cultivation, because you know the word culture, Brother Lewis, has its root in the same as cultivate, or in dealing with the earth. Its root is in the earth. You don't get culture, is interestingly, without connecting it to the earth. It's the same roots.
That's right.
See, so the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, gave us and guided us from Genesis. He said, and there was no man to till the soil. See, that means there was nobody to cultivate the people, to help them to grow properly. We haven't had men, we've had brothers who have been sent out. This is one of the reasons why our women today are literally selling vagina. And brothers are buying vagina today. They're not respecting you based on you being an intelligent man with protecting qualities and working to be a great provider. They're not looking, they want you to buy the vagina, and they don't, and then on top of that, they don't have any level of accountability. This is all a part of a system, and you got brothers who have bought into that narrative. We got to go to war with all of this. I mentioned in the opening the fact that you have women who have accepted. I was purposefully put there because I wanted to make sure that that was there, that women accepting homosexual men, meaning you accept the black man in a very broken, aberrated state of being. You can accept him like that, but you can't accept him as an authoritative man that sets up the system of government in his family. That's the role of a man. See? That's our duty. But you got enemies that have weakened us. Now you compromise to your woman and your children, as the scriptures say. Women rule over them, and children are their oppressors. We've been compromised, systematically compromised. Listen, so I was thinking over the Honorable Elijah Muhammad today, and I was like, what a wonderful brother. No wonder these people going so hard against the minister. No wonder they going so hard against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They the only one. These are men. These are men who are men who are rooted in God, not rooted in the system, who are unapologetically that. Now listen, it hit me. I was thinking about this whole pill thing, and how the enemy is working systematically. Because what we're talking about is how he has created a system that perpetually destroys black male, black man authority. Our children are running rampant today, lawlessly, because they don't have men. I was at a coffee shop today after I left the gym, went to the coffee shop, and these young children at the coffee shop going, little young ones, getting out of hand. I didn't go off on them. I calmly went over because they was having trouble pouring the water and they was getting into it. I took over and I began to pour the water for the young people. And then I started talking to them. Then I told the young ones, I said, listen, thank them. I had the man at the counter give them some water and all that. And, I took care of them. But as they was leaving, it hit me in my mind. See, this is our duty, brother. I mean, it's something I would do naturally, but it's our responsibility. What I impressed upon them young children, and I realized it afterwards, was the leadership of a black man in their life. This needs to be a constant. So the enemy has created an agenda of destroying us. So the feminist movement itself, brothers, was totally funded by the enemy. You would think that, oh, these white women just got together and they was upset with their man. No, no, no. This was a system. This was intentional. She's a co-conspirator in this process. That's why I mentioned what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad actually said, that she was whispering the whole time in the ear of Black women, because she had to create and help be a part of the manufacturing, the constant and perpetual manufacturing of slaves. You said something very crucial, Brother Lewis, when you mentioned that process. Something very crucial about how she was produced, how she has produced the simp. How the Black man has been being made this way, and at one point how we were made militant because she prayed properly over us in her thought process. When she carried us, she didn't fear the enemy, she hated the enemy. Well, listen, I was listening to another report. I just put these things on your mind and we can keep it moving, brothers. And please raise your hand if you want to make a comment, but I encourage you to jump in, and don't be you don't have to hold back. But listen, I was listening at this documentation. You mentioned something else about, these interracial joints. And I remember I was listening to this commentator talk about the fact that more Black women are having sex with white men than there are Black men having sex with white women. I'm throwing this shot out here for a reason, because it needs to be understood that our woman has been totally taken over by our enemy. We need to understand how diabolical this system is. That's why we wanted to attack feminism. There is nothing that is beneficial about it. Our women adopted feminism in one part because they thought it was a pathway to some type of social justice for Black people. They thought it was some kind of way that would help us. They didn't know that they were being tricked, totally tricked and deceived by the enemy. Listen, see Dolores Tucker, Brother Lewis. I was thinking about her today. And I was thinking about, because we're talking about this social engineering piece. And I said, damn, the moral compass in the Black community is been totally buried, totally smothered out, because we do not want to cause disruption. We don't want anybody to be upset with us. But I go back in my memory, and I was in the brother's book that I want to recommend to all of us, The Vanishing of the Black Family. He pointed this out, how Tupac, how many of them began to attack, even this white boy, Eminem, attacked this virtuous, decent Black woman who was speaking out against the corruption in the language of the hip hop music, in the language that was being used to denigrate Black women, and also put a message of violence out in our community. We talked about this maybe last week or so ago, but it's important to bring up in this context of feminism, because we need to understand, again, the social engineering that is taking place. So I want to put it out here, brothers. Are you in agreement? What do you think with regard to how we have to aggressively go against feminism? We got to look at the Democratic Party. We got to look at the Republican Party. None of these parties are for us anyway. But what do you think with regard to how we need to address this, what I would call a toxin, what I would call a weapon of mass destruction against the Black community? You mentioned the color purple. Let me point this one out to you. Go if you think that was hardcore, go look at For Colored Girls. Go look at that. Look at how I was invited, interestingly, in my community by sisters who respected me. And I was probably one of the only brothers in that didn't really do my homework before I went in there, to be honest with you. Sat in the movie and watched Black men, it was a special showing, just get pummeled. I'm talking about just destroyed. One failed character after another. Just tearing the brothers down. I got up at the end because they asked me to get up and say something. I said, I'll be damned. I said, I did not realize there was so much hatred being directed in this film toward Black men. In fact, most of Tyler Perry's movies have a negative representation of black men. This is something we need to pay attention to. We have to go to war against this social engineering. I see Brother Harrison. Harrison, brother, come on, pop in there, brother. Good to hear from you.
Brother Harrison, you up, brother?
Yep, there he is. Yeah,
How y'all doing? I don't know if y'all can hear me.
yeah, we can hear you. Yes,
I
sir.
apologize too, man. My camera messed up on my phone, so I can't
Oh,
even.
no problem.
But
That's
man,
all.
what I noticed, man, man, the whole world is trying to get everybody to just be in their feelings, right?
Yes,
All of this,
yes,
all about how you feel, but that's not logically sound, my guys.
that's
As
right.
men, we didn't grew up out of our childish ways, because as a child you operate off of how you feel, but as men we know why we do what we do. We can't operate off of feelings, and this is a standard that they don't want us to reestablish, a logical sense. They want us to stay in our emotions. Everything toward our kids is based on how they feel, right? And this is what I think our biggest problem is, because we're going to have to learn to regain a logical sense with black
Mhm.
people, because black people as a whole right now are being driven with emotions.
Emotions, yes, yes,
Well,
Why?
because again, the black man is the logical sense. He's the understanding that's missing in the household. They knew what they was doing when they promoted welfare over the man.
that's
You
right.
you was gaining, you was taking away the understanding, and you was allowing feelings to control the household, to where now if the woman feels like she don't want her son to face the backlash of white America, she's not going to train him to be a strong man. She's going to make sure he's passive enough to fly under the radar, as one would say, right?
Mhm.
But with saying that, man, I'm reminded of a scripture, Isaiah 55, right?
Mhm.
Isaiah 55 and 8. It says, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. My ways are higher than your ways, right? Well, when we look at that, that goes back to logic over vain emotions. That's an acronym for love.
Mm.
Logic over vain emotions, right?
Emotions. Wow, wow.
We need to get back to exercising being logical. What he said he did in the shop today, with in the coffee shop. Those kids were probably acting out of their emotions. But he went and
Wow.
introduced a logical sense that they needed to get things straight. So as men, we gotta be willing to be more logical with the way we approach our situations. And being logical is just knowing why you're doing what you're doing. That's it. We
That's
we
right.
prac- we practice wisdom because it's discipline. When you use discipline, you can see how it keeps you out of harm's way. That's what your logic is. But these kids don't have that. So
Right.
as men, we're going to have to start introducing that outside of our households, because I expect every man on this call right now, if he has a household, to operate like that in his household, right? That's what being a man is in your household. But we got to step outside of our households and start introducing logic, which is a real solution. That's how we get resolution in our
That's right.
community. We got to start
That's right.
bringing that back into our communities, man. And I just encourage every man to, understand what love is, and make sure that we share that type of love. This ain't about no kisses and hugs. This is about
Right.
putting over vain emotions. And with that,
That's right. Brother Jay, which is one of our other pillars on this program. Brother, what's your thoughts? What input might you have on this process? Are you there, Brother Jay? I'm trying to
Yeah,
see you.
yeah, I'm
And I'm
gonna come. I'm gonna come back to me though. I'm tied up right now.
okay, my brother, no
All
problem.
right.
Brother Carlton.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Brother Carlton. Good to hear from you, black man.
Good to hear from you, brothers, and good to be here. I was just listening, and observing, and a lot of the problems that we're having, I think is what's being pushed or what we're listening to, because while there is a lot of female artists and male artists that are very, negative, or very, oversexed. There are some artists that I, take a listen to that I think that are pretty good that, are not over sexualized. One just to bring up a female, her name is Her. That's her name, her stage name. It's one of my favorite artists. And
Mhm.
she, I mean, you ought to check it out. I don't see her as the same way as the other female artists that are out here being raunchy, nasty, and over sexualized. So I think that we also need to, and she doesn't get enough play. You know what I mean? I think she's even got a new album out, and people don't even know about it, but they know about, say, Cardi B's album and somebody like that. But this sister right here is banging on something. We even have our own artists in the nation. I don't know how we can get them out there, but they have some very good music. You know what I mean? That we could actually put out in the community.
So
You
so
know,
what
we
so
have.
what's your thoughts? Well, what's your thoughts, brother Carlton? Just keying in on the subject because I agree there are great artists, and I'm definitely coming out of a radio background, and there's definitely great artists. But and I think that's a great solution approach, in terms of what we have to do because I think we need to wage war against the industry personally. But what's your thoughts in terms of some of the music that's supporting the destruction of Black communities, in terms of and even pushing the agenda of weakness on our community. Do you have any thoughts in that area?
Yeah, yeah. I believe that they won't be successful. They will not be
Mhm,
successful.
mhm,
There's nothing that they can do to stop. You know what I mean? What's about to happen with us? They can try.
mhm.
They can do it. We have some setbacks. We're gonna have a lot of setbacks. And yes, we do need to. I'm not saying that just because we're gonna win, we shouldn't be going to war with them. You're right. We need to go to war with them, and we can go to war with them with our talent. You know what I mean? With the proper
Right.
talent that we have. You know what I mean? So I think that you know, we need to push that more positive artist. We need to push that more positive environment. A positive, rappers. You know what I mean? I think that J. Cole is. I mean, he says some words I don't like, but I think that he's more positive than most. I think that.
Oh yeah, he's very positive.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm saying we have a lot that we could do to challenge the part that is negative. That's what I'm trying to say. So what I feel about
Yes.
that is that they're not going to win. There's no way for them to win. It's just like this Iraq war. There's no way for them to win. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Yeah.
there's gonna be some setbacks and there's gonna be some casualties. So that's how I look at that.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I think that when we were talking about pedophilia also, and all of that going on, and how that's being portrayed in the family. It brought to mind to me the Elijah Muhammad and people accusing him of pedophilia. You know what I mean? We have to really understand what pedophilia is versus what, say, the Elijah Muhammad had going on in his domestic life, as well as Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. These two men were charged, and they're being charged in society as being pedophiles because people don't necessarily understand what pedophilia is. You know what I mean? And so
I
they
never
try
heard
to,
I never heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad being charged with it, but I've heard Prophet Muhammad being charged with it. I heard Honorable Elijah Muhammad being charged with having younger wives, but I guess is that what you're trying to extrapolate in your point?
yeah, as I'm saying, that the younger wives
Mhm.
were being the younger wives they were making it construing it as if he was. I had somebody tell me straight up that the Elijah
Right.
Muhammad was a pedophile. You know what I mean? And I said, I
Yeah.
beg your pardon. You need to
Right.
understand and study what you're talking about. So
Right.
I'm just saying that to say that that's out there. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's something that while we're talking about this conversation, we need to bring that to the forefront so we can make sure that it's understood.
Yeah. I appreciate that, brother Carlton. Thank you so much, brother. Been good to hear
That's
from you
what
again, brother
good to hear
Luke,
from
brother
you.
John. Go ahead,
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, real quick.
please,
Uh,
brother. Yeah.
the one of our biggest problems is we don't understand how undermining these contraptions we're talking on right now are to our families and to our brotherhood, to our sisterhood, to our manhood, to our womanhood, to our childrenhood, childhood, to our entire community. I mean, we really have to understand that these cell phones, these pads, children are now, when they do the survey of who are influential in their lives, parents don't even show up. I'm gonna say that one more time. Parents don't even show up as being influential in their lives. Nowhere. It's other peers and other things. So you have children at your table. We have children at our table eating our food, wearing the clothes we bought, enjoying the air conditioning in its heat, huh? Enjoying those Jordans that people buying from everybody, but at the same time, tossing you around in their head because you're saying something at the dinner table, if you sit at the table and eat with them, or wherever you're at. And they're constantly getting fed on TikTok, on all these platforms, every 3 seconds, every 10 seconds, every 20 seconds, every minute of every day, every hour. And so what are you going to do about someone who done watched 10,000 videos today? How do you address that? We have to go to the root of that. And within those 10,000 videos, did we talk to our children about that? Did we talk to our community about that? Did we talk to anybody about it? Do we even know that our children are getting so much data, so much stuff coming in? Is it a crazy amount of information coming in that the average person 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago did not try to process or couldn't process during that time? So these children, not only children, but grown people, they even got they're showing where 60-year-old now, they are addicted to the internet. They're addicted to TikTok. So, but what is it that they're actually getting that's making them addicted, along with what's going on, this dopamine they're getting every week? So until we really address how they're getting their information and the first thing you do in war is you cut off communications. Am I right, Brother Lewis? You gotta address communications.
That's right.
So if you use the phrase "we're at war," we got to address this communication and how they are communicating to our children, mentally, physically, spiritually. They're telling these children, "This is whatever you want, go for it."
Right.
And they're dumbed down these children so much that they can't even walk through a step of reasoning. A plus B equals B plus C. I know you've seen all this online. They couldn't even. I saw today where they were asking children. They were just showing them a clock. Say, what time is it? It said 5 o'clock, but they were saying 12:25.
I saw that. Mm-hmm.
They asked them to read. They couldn't even read a whole sentence. Right now, they just came out and said that they're lowering the test grades. I mean, what an A is, what a B is, what a C, a D. I mean, I think a passing grade is a 44 based on the new grades level. So what are we doing now? Don't worry about it. We're gonna make everything all right. You just go through it. Just come here. You don't have to participate, and eventually it'll be okay. No, it's not gonna be okay. Do we understand that they raised the draft age up to 42 years old now? You can draft somebody at 42 now. This thing is coming down the lane, and if we don't, and it's not coming slow, it is a shotgun coming at us. It is a bullet train coming at our community. And if we don't address it ASAP, and I mean within our own self, and no need to be looking outside, because I said this and I'll say it again. These children you got, their grandchildren, you don't know what they're gonna bring home. We don't know what these people identifying as dogs, as cats, as everything else.
It's a very, very important point, because one of the things that at least identifying the sources of information, I think, is important. And as we tied into this subject on the Black family, because I want us, to really see if we can hone in a little bit, on it, because I think your point is relevant, Brother John, because one of the things that I mentioned in the intro was the fact that the increasing attack online with sexual predators. There's an increase of sexual predators online coming after our children. You know, it's sad to say you really don't need it when you got an educational system now putting books in front of your children, the ones that can read are young children, and you're impressing upon them homosexuality and other things, you know.
That's right.
But you know, so I think it plays a very significant part, you know, because a lot of times I think they say that the average parent spends less than 2 hours a day with their children, and within that 2 hours is not hardly any substantive conversation that's taking place. So there is a serious disconnect, and it's something we as parents and family need to really consider. What is your child learning? You know, and then when your child comes home holding a girl's hand or a boy's hand and you don't challenge that, that's a serious problem that we need to take into consideration. That's a serious subject that we need to entertain. We need to start sitting down at the table, one, as a family again, and two, we need to start having these hard conversations at the dinner table. Some of our people are just allowing their children to run into a burger joint, run into a fast food joint, and you're not putting anything substantive in your children and wondering why they're making irrational decisions. You know, one of the questions I want to raise for tonight was, and maybe we can table this question, or if you have other thoughts that you might want to impart, but where does Black masculinity, rooted in strength, faith, and community leadership, find its footing in a cultural moment that labels those qualities as toxic? Where do we find our footing? If you're a masculine man today, how do you find your footing? How do you gain your footing? I see Brother Tony got his hand up there.
Yes, sir. Brother Lewis had his hand up before mine, so
Okay,
I don't want him to lose his thought, because I think he wanted to chime in on something you and Brother John was saying.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, but I'll let you go ahead and go, Brother Tony. I'll come back to it. I think it'll still be relevant.
Praise be to Allah. I definitely wasn't in any rush, but you know, listening to the brothers, man, y'all sparked several things, because we have a class with some younger brothers as well, and we were talking about the death of the male protector.
Yeah.
And in this study that was given by the Center of Male Psychology, what we were pushing back and forth were the things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us was the foundation of of masculinity, because it was based on the original man as being the protector of not only himself, his wife, and his family, but as a universal protector of creation and life itself. And so you cannot exclude those things when you're talking about man's role. We can simplify it and boil it down to just the raw bones of standing in place of those things that are harmful to society. But when you talk about male protector in its elevated state, the only person who can do that is a man who embodies the divine authority of God. So if you embody that divine authority, then everything else that comes in contact with you has to work in conjunction with your authority or submit to your authority. There's no middle ground. And what this society did, particularly when Brother Lewis was talking earlier about the feminazis, as he calls them. These were a group of Jewish women who are not only Zionists in their political affiliations, but they're also descendants from Babylonian Talmudists. And if you know anything about these particular group of Jews, then they understood that they had to turn Black women against Black men. Not only did they know they had to turn Black women against Black men, but they knew that they had to ultimately even turn the white woman against the white man. Because anytime you have that man in place who has that moral authority and any inclination towards God, like the black man had, and like the white Christian was getting in his Christian affiliations, they understood that they couldn't rule in a society like that. But when they did this thing so brilliantly in their social engineering, do you know there was a case in 1967 that was organized by these people as a social experiment? They had this woman named Kitty Genovese attacked, raped, and murdered in the park in New York. And the majority of the people would not even intervene in this woman's attack. One, because she was an Italian woman, you know, and back then, Italian women were still associated with people of color. And her attacker was a white perpetrator, but these people did not intercede in this on this woman's behalf. And by the time they interceded to call the police, it was too late. The woman had already been killed. And so they went on to do this. And what they found that after giving this negative image of males for over a 20-year period of time, that young people from 16 to 25 who were really society's protectors back then. That's why they were forming gangs. Gangs were formed because people wanted to protect society, not because they wanted to run crime and be involved in criminal elements. They all formed because they wanted to protect their communities. But they found that this impact, look what they did to this person. There was an individual named John Rowe. And this is what they did to him. They turned him from a hero to a criminal. He saw a woman being attacked. She was getting to be robbed. He fired some warning shots. Instead of him becoming a hero, you know what they did to him? They arrested him. They charged him with public menace. They indicted him for weapons charges. They drug him. And this was a man who was trying to protect somebody. So what it started to do was it started to cultivate in this spirit of these youth that it didn't pay to be a protector. And because it wasn't paying to be a protector, many of them, up to 77% of youths, they say from 16 to 25, will no longer intervene when they see a woman being attacked. But they were doing this over a long period of time. This was an investment in the psychology, because they understood that in the evolution of psychology, if we talked about women being immoral and hypersexual and whatever, but in the evolution of psychology, if a man sees a woman as low down, dirty, and trifling, he's not going to try to intervene on her behalf. So if women do not, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, no nation can rise higher than this woman, what he's talking about is the psychological perception of a man that he has of the woman. If I see her as the crown glory of my children, my household, then I'm going to die to protect her. But if she does not evolve, if she is not cultivated, then I'm not going to have that spirit to lay down my life for her, because I'm gonna look at her as being less than. I'm gonna look at her as being unworthy. And so when the brother was talking about earlier, he was talking about logic, and he was talking about dealing with things logical. Brother Harrison was, but it's not as simple as that. Just to put a little bit of different look on it, because everybody acts, even in their inordinacy, logically in their own reality. You see what I'm saying? In their own reality, it's logical for them to behave that way. So if these logical fallacies are not pointed out, and the errors in their structure and the content that they've been given, they'll keep making poor decisions, but you won't be able to get them to see it a proper way, because it's logical to them. It's reasonable. It's practical. I grew up like this. I seen this happening. It happened to my mother. It happened to her mother. This is the way that it goes. We sell pussy over here. You understand what I'm saying? Like brother Mike was talking about the sister saying the kids want to F me. Everybody want to F me. They saying this is what we do over here. Yeah, they saying this is what we do over here, because those are logical fallacies, but there's still logic in their reality. So in order to uproot that or circumvent that, then you have to impose a greater reality on their mind, so that reality, it's like programming. When they were programming this new generation of people this new generation of men and this new generation of women to feel like they need to be protected from men instead of be protected by men. When that whole dynamic changed, what they did was they painted a false picture of who man is naturally and a false picture of who the woman is naturally. So now how do you reconcile the two when they're based on false premises? The concepts of logic won't apply there, because you have to uproot something, that a false premise upon which these structures are established and upon the content that has been given to them. See, y'all talked about the music and TV and all of this, and Brother Mike talked about the show, the Tyler Perry show, where they were attacking these black men. They are being fed strategically this content, and if you be fed this content strategically over a period of time, it becomes it becomes your reality, because you have this firm conviction that this is true, even if it's not true, even if it's not rooted in reality. It's been fed to me so long, I have a firm conviction now, and I'll stand on this premise that this is so, even though everything around me denies that. I could have she could have a good father, she could have a good brother, but she'll still say ends ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I'm fed this content that's based on these logical fallacies that seem real in this simulated reality that they paint for us with TV and music and all of that. It seems real, but it's not. Assalamu alaikum.
Right. Well, excellent. Thank you, Brother Tony. And I hear exactly what you're saying, and I think to the point Brother Harrison was making, he was dealing with logic in the wholesome sense. You're dealing with the fact that there's been a skewed view developed in our psyche, that the psyche is messed up, and so therefore there's a skewed logic that's coming out of that psyche that's been fed into us. Is that kind of what you on right there, brother? Because I was just
yes, I commend the brother for what he's saying, because he's absolutely right when you have a rational mind. Because he's talking about a rational mind, but there's a very large schism from getting somebody from that fallacial mind to that rational mind. That schism, like the minister even talk about closing the gap. He addresses some of that in there, of how that comes, how that separation occurs, is because our perception of reality is only true to you.
Absolutely. And this is why.
If you're not willing to let it go, you'll hang on it to the death. Yes, sir.
Well, excellent, brother. I appreciate that, Brother Tony, and everything you said. And I was going to say this, brothers, as we move on to go to Brother Ranzu, and then and have him give us a comment, and then back to you, Brother Harrison. But I want to say this, brothers, this is why this subject is so important. And then coming to you, Brother Lewis. This is why it's so important, because we have to understand the fight we're in. You know what I'm saying? So if we don't even understand the adversary, then we will not be effective in the fight. And most of our people, most of us in some instances, don't understand the adversary. We need to understand this is so systematic. It is so designed. This is a very Satan is a master for a reason. He's called a master for a reason. He is a master at deception and fueling and feeding propaganda and false information into the psyche of people. He has done this for generations. So one of the things that Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us in the lessons, he said that Yaqub taught his man lying, stealing, and how to master the original man. This is mastering us. He studied our emotions. He studied our moral compass, and he manipulates us based on those kind of things. So what he's doing now, he knows that his time is up systematically. It is over for America. Anybody trying to be an integrationist and hold on, you holding on to nothing because it's going down. And he knows his time is up. So what is he doing? He's putting out more and more filth to corrupt us because he knows that we have a great future ahead of us, but we have to clean up morally. Feminism, it's so important for us to understand feminism as an attack on the Black community. For my sisters that are listening, it's important for you to get out of this mindset that's been programmed into you. Brother Tony, you're talking about it. This mindset that's been programmed into you for colored girls only, Black girl magic. There's nothing wrong with the label on the surface, but it's the hidden agenda that we need to pay attention to. Is the why. Why don't you say for Black families only, or Black families rock, Black men and women working together rock? But you corner it off on the women, and you make our women perpetual victims in society. And as long as they're taking the victim mindset, the emotion tied to that victimization causes them to keep being offended, and they will certainly be offended by the authority and the strength and masculinity of a Black man, which is there to really protect and to help create a system of for the family. Brother Ramzu.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam. There my brother go.
What kind of uniform you got on there, brother? You looking good in that picture, brother. I was like, who is this soldier, man?
There the scientists go, man. There my brother is, man.
Hey, brother Tony. How you doing, brother Tony?
Man, I'm excellent, brother.
Good to see you here. Yeah, but that's the FOI uniform I got made in Botswana.
Okay, brother, you looking great, brother. We need to get one of them on over here. Yes, sir. All right, Fruit. Assalamu alaikum, Black man. What you gonna put on our head, man?
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate whoever created this, the creators of this group's good discussion, good build.
Praise be to Allah.
I just had just one basic thing to say. When I got out of, I went to prison some years back as a youth, and I got out, I used to listen to all the speeches and so forth, and the teachings and study groups, etc. Which can go on and on and on, because you can always discuss problems under oppression. You can always have a problem to discuss under oppression.
Yes, sir.
But the objective of us even joining an organization called the Nation of Islam is so that we can have our own nation. Yeah. And then that would nip in the bud all of these problems that we can have endless discussions about. That would end the control of our culture for them to cultivate homosexuals and etc. amongst Black people. That would nip in the bud the youth going astray, being fed bad teachings through music. Because we control the music. We control everything. So being a nation will actually solve all of that. So
beautiful.
I just wanted to put it in our heads that we got to focus on the mission statement. Oftentimes, it seems like all the times after I view Black organizations throughout history, all of us seem to have lost the mission statement.
Yes.
Yes. The Nation of Islam hasn't been yet to become a nation. The Republic of New Africa has yet to become the Republic of New Africa. And for various reasons, etc., we seem to go off course. But if we travel back, like Moses said, I can keep on going on and on and on forever. It's time we stop and be fed. So he had to retrace his steps back. So it's time that we stop and be fed. We are hungry for a nation. Brother said he's hungry for war. I'm hungry for war too. We all warriors. I think everybody else is FOI. We're warriors.
Yes,
sir. And the main reason for war throughout history is over a nationhood, becoming a nation
Absolutely.
or protecting a nation.
Absolutely,
so we have
brother.
to actually anchor down and say, look, let's go to war. Let's actualize this mission statement, this nation, this separation that we have been talking about for over 90 years. Let's actualize it. Let's come together and let's just talk shop, whatever you want to call it. What steps are we going to take? How are we going to actualize this nation? Like the brother said, I don't know if it was Brother Lewis or Brother John. So we are in trouble. We got to do something right now.
Yes, sir.
I mean, like,
yes, sir.
Not now, yesterday, actually. Yesterday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or we are in trouble. And so
absolutely.
I just wanted to add that in. We got to start discussing how do we actualize this nation? What are the steps to actually become a nation? Not a religious organization. We didn't did that. We've become a great religious organization. We've developed great Black economics, even though it's under a white economy. We've shown those examples. Now, how do we take that and actually separate and create something that we can be in control of the cultivation of our people? That's all.
I appreciate that. Well, excellent. Thank you so much, Brother Ramzu. You're right on point, Black man. And this is what we're talking about. You know, one of the driving agendas of what we're doing here on We Must First Be Brothers is that we talk about often, we're tying some type of activity, a building activity, to what we're doing. We're not just here wanting to talk. We're raising this conversation as a curation, one, to see where's our brothers at. Because, you know, every brother ain't a brother because the color, as you know, in the great lyrics of a great poet, right? And we also understand, as the minister said, everybody that say Assalamu alaikum ain't a Muslim. See, so we're in a season now where we gotta see the difference between the wheat and the tare. It's a cultivation period right now where we gotta develop, and this instruction that we're coming up under is from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because the problem with us, the reason we keep deviating is because we haven't established, in my view, a strong brotherhood where we can stay focused and hold each other accountable to the agenda, as you pointed out so beautifully, Brother Ramzu, of building a nation. This is what we're talking about. And hopefully you can keep coming and joining us, brother, because these are the kind of conversations that we're having. We're talking about building, not just the problem, not complaining, because I know exactly what you're talking about, that we do and have a tendency to do, you know, where we just cite the issue over and over again. And we actually develop a psychosis on pointing out what's wrong. And I think, Brother Lewis, you often always mention Brother Bill Allen, you know, and what he said, find a way to start talking about the solution. Well, we are crescendoing in this conversation. That's one of the reasons why I asked that question. What can we do to help Black male masculinity to gain a footing? You answered it essentially. Build something. Build something. That's what we love Honorable Elijah Muhammad for. He built something. The minister has gave us the framework. Brother Lewis pointed out so beautifully. Today, he's given us the framework, but we have to build something and stop looking to somebody else. Even as we used to say often, looking for the enemy to do something that we should be doing for ourselves. We got to stop looking for the minister. We got to look for any other brother to do it. We as brothers have to start banding together wherever we have likeness and commonality and say, God damn it, let's go over here and build something. We're going to go down to Louisiana. Let's build something. Let's help Brother Lewis. Brother Lewis got something going on. Let's go build. We got another brother over here in California building. Let's go and help the brother build something. Let's not worry about our ego and our position and recognition. Let's look at the broader picture and the benefit of working together, as Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. You inspire a lot in what you're saying, brother, because this is what has caused so much dissatisfaction in the ranks even, is that we have done so much talking and then we've gotten so much expectation we've been waiting on the minister like a big baby sucking on a titty for the minister to do it all. The minister that's not his job. He is a facilitator. And most of those who are disgruntled and upset with him are only upset because they wanted dad to do something that dad ain't here to do for them. It's our time to mature as brothers and say, let's get together. Let's band together. Let me look at your talent, what your gift is. Let me separate from my ego. If I got a brother over here who can hit the jumper, why am I dribbling, Brother John? Why do I keep just dribbling and dribbling and dribbling and dribbling?
Give up the
Pass
ball,
the ball. Shit. Pass the ball. Let that brother shoot. See, and that's respecting what we have been taught from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he said that the Black man is God. If we really grow to believe that, then I got to look for God in you, Brother Tony. I got to look for it in you, Brother Ramsey. I got to look for it in you, Brother Carlton, Brother Jay. And then when I see it, I can't be so proud, so wrapped up in my own godship that I can't bow. As we were taught by the minister, when we give the greetings, we bow. We're being told that we're bowing to the God that's in our brother, because our brother got God in him. And when we get out of the lip profession of this, then and get into the actualization of this, then we go out and we build something. We down in Brother Ramsey last week or 2 ago, 2 weeks, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, brothers? We down in Baton Rouge and we laid a foundation. You know, we poured cement. Brother, when you talking about, and it's the start of many things. Brother Lewis got a beachhead down there. He's already been taken over, but my brother down there doing this by himself with the A team and his family, of course. But I'm just saying, there's other brothers like us that if we just get in proximity, as we've been talking about, Brother Lewis often mentions, you know, and start building something. When we left there, we were so elevated, brother. You know, and you sound like you're a seasoned FOI, like you're a made brother. So I think you can understand when we worked together, how it made us feel, brother, when we would leave the field after doing something, how good we would feel, how lifted we would feel. You know, what has happened is that the enemy has created this environment online where we have become lip professors. We got a lot of knowledge. You know, ain't the FOI in the ranks that can't preach and can't teach something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We out there throwing our handkerchief on the sidewalk like we the minister on the roster. We've been teaching so hard. but the problem is, brother, is when we do something. That's what makes, see, that's even how you honor a leader. You don't honor a leader by just saying, I said it right. Minister did how I said it. Did I say it good? You honor a leader by building something that the leader can say, well, man, they have taken the word and the word has now become flesh and the word is dwelling among men. We can see you over there traveling the world, brother. I didn't travel, blessed to travel parts of the world and see things built, nations and governments. And you know, anyone that has traveled internationally and been in this teaching for a sufficient amount of time, you run into everything Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. And I'm coming to you, Brother Lewis. You know, you run into everything Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said. You know, and this is the thing. But you also, I don't know if this has been any of your experiences, brothers, but I also realized, I said, damn, I mean, I don't say this in no vanity. I run this damn country. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm in country, I've been in countries, I was like, if I sit down with the government, I can literally, based on what we have been given from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, brother, run countries. I was in the basement of in Memphis, Tennessee, on the Holy Day of Atonement. The minister said to those of us in the ministry class in that room, he says, some of you will be over territories. We ain't just supposed to be in a little city, brother, little pocket. Some of us got the power right now with the wisdom that's in our brain to run governments and countries. In fact about it, the Savior said he came to put us on top of the world.
That's
brother
right.
Lewis.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Pardon the preaching episode, brother, but it's, you know, we got fire. We got fire in our bones. Brother, praise be to Allah. Brother Lewis.
This is a really powerful show. You said, y'all said so much. I don't know where to start at. But I think I better say one thing. It's very important. I tried to call Brother John today, and I might have mentioned to you today, Brother Michael.
Yes, sir.
You should write more.
Yes.
Is J19 on here?
Yes, sir.
Write more. We need to write more about what we're actually doing, because the enemy is using slander perpetually, generation after generation, to destroy us. And sometimes our mouths, we don't realize it. Maybe, I don't think it's intentional, but our mouths are poison against our benefactors.
Right.
Let me give you some examples of it. You mentioned Yaqub.
Yes.
Well, the psychology of Yaqub is to kill the strong, black, morally correct one, and the one that is not so morally correct, weaker vessel, aid and feed the weaker vessel, and let the darker vessel, the moral vessel, the masculine vessel die. I want you to really think about that.
You killed that thing. You might need to say that one more time, Brother Lou.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Because Brother Michael said it right. We're at war.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows anything about the fight game, Floyd Mayweather was known for making fight adjustments. Like sometimes it could be a distant thing. It could be something to where the guy's a little rugged. You ain't holding your hand high enough on one side. It could be several things. But when you're in a fight at a certain point, you have to make fight adjustments. And you can't be as silly as the guy who got knocked out by this same dude doing the same thing before you were born. Now, evidently, it's something that our fathers didn't understand that we better come into reality with real quick.
Real quick.
They are killing the strong, black, moral energy in our community. Anybody who is black, color consciousness, connection to your creator, morally competent, not perfect, but morally competent, able to give some type of guidance. They kill you or starve you to death. Nobody will support you because they isolate you. Meanwhile, the degenerate, or maybe not just the degenerate, the weaker vessel receives aid. And they allow us to die out, Brother John.
Yes.
Now let's look at this. This is Yakub's psychology. And we know this. This is why in every community, if you think about it, what was wrong with Richard Williams, Serena and Venus's father? What did he do wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, he's a cheater. He cheated on her. He had sex. He's a cheater. He ain't nobody. But he made those two girls.
Come on.
So you're going to throw away this strong black man because he reproduced himself and went into the next dispensation of time by the mercy and grace of a woman, and you like a damn simp. That's the reason why I mentioned that simp stuff, brother.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
Because you slander your father.
Yes.
Or you repeat the slander that others say. You
Yes.
look like talking bad about the minister or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He had sex with a woman. I try not to use profanity, but you all but make me use some choice words.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? Because you're so damn dumb.
Yes.
They're trying to destroy the strong, masculine, morally competent black man. What happened to Joe Jackson?
Come on, brother.
He's a cheater. He had sex with a woman. He ain't no good. But that's the man that was down there grinding, giving birth to the Jackson Fives. Wouldn't be no Jackson Fives without Joe Jackson.
Wouldn't be no Jackson 5. Come on.
And you want to throw him in the toilet with your raggedy ass where you like to hang out at.
Come on.
And talk bad about Joe Jackson.
Come on.
You start talking, what about Tiger Woods' daddy? Oh, he's a cheater too.
Right.
Damn. All the black men are cheaters.
Come on.
He's a cheater. Oh, girl, throw him away. Meanwhile, a bastard like Bill Clinton, I'm sorry, I said I
call it.
So mad.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
Stupid.
Come on. Come on.
So stupid, man.
Teach, brother.
When you talk about Bill Clinton, don't nobody talk about his sex life with, I don't know who the women's name, Monica Lewinsky or this Jones girl. They even mention that. They don't mention that. But when Mike Tyson, he's a cheat. You know, he's raping. He's a rapist. He's a cheater.
Come on.
The man who started the little hip hop that all of us, Russell Simmons, he's out the country now. Why? He's a cheater. Yeah. He's a cheater. All the black men are cheaters.
Come on, brother. Come on. Feminism. Come on.
And what? Simpism.
Yes, sir.
Because you're in competition with your brother. Maybe you think you put a baby in your old lady. I don't know. I know that's rough.
Oh,
but all the black men, what you look like as a black man calling another black man a cheater?
Come on.
And I'm against fornication and adultery. I want to go on record and say that. I'm against that. Because it's stupid.
Yes, sir.
If you were mature enough, we had a different social system in our original state. You ought to grab some of these young boys that are walking around like bastards or illegitimate children, and you ought to take care of them without having sex with their mothers.
Come on. Teach.
That's how you prove you're a man. But you ain't proving you no man by slandering other black men. And look at how stupid they got us. And I'm going right back to this Yakub, the psychology of Yakub. When you kill a strong black man, label him a cheater. But you energize and you feed into weaker men who are like weaker vessels. You like James Baldwin. He's a homosexual. You're not talking about his sex life.
Come on.
I'm not trying to put down on him.
Come on, brother.
But I'm using it as an example.
It's a fact.
He got with his white lover, William Stiver, and they wrote a book about a masculine black man named Nat Turner and turned Nat Turner into a homosexual in the book. So that if any little militant black boy gets the book on Nat Turner, he thinks Nat Turner was somewhere sticking his penis in an anus.
Come on.
If you were in an anus, even with a woman, you're a homosexual. Because that's the life germ that you carry there. And it's sacred also.
Yes.
Your life germ is sacred. When you make a baby, that's sacred. You talk about Baynard Rustin, you put him up on Dr. King, and they seduce you, black man, when they make you weak and you get into the fornication and adultery in orgies, if you will.
Yes.
A lot of times they'll bring a transgender or a punk in there. You thought you was gonna have 2 women or 3 women, and one of them is just a devil, a homosexual devil.
That's right.
And then they video it. And when you get ready to stand up and be strong, they pop the video out on you, Doc.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to talk that black talk now, but you was over here with a white woman, and one of them was a transgender. See how they do it? But it's the simp, the domesticated, non-territorial, non-threatening, non-protective male that don't call out when you speak ill about other males. See, couldn't nobody come to me and slander John. I wouldn't let it happen because I know John.
Vice versa.
Ain't nobody come to me and slander. That's right. Your children can't come to me and talk bad about you.
Come on, brother. That's right. Vice versa.
I know who I'm dealing with.
That's right, brother.
I know that you have a moral compass and can give guidance.
Yes, sir.
Who told us that as black men, we can't grow to mature?
Yes.
And that we have to be perfect in the beginning rather than on the journey toward perfection.
Perfection. Come on, brother.
I've never personally met Brother Tony, but I ain't no damn fool. I can feel his spirit and energy on this call.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Real.
Yes, sir.
When are you going to be alpha enough male to love your neighbor and love your brother enough to stand up for him when somebody bring you some slander on him?
Come on.
You say you a man, right? Don't you want to look carefully into something before you repeat it?
That's right. That's right.
About our benefactor? Do you know what my life would be like had I not heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? You don't know me.
That's
and you
right.
don't know, you don't know what we've gone through to get to this point.
Yes. That's right.
So you ought to have enough respect for a black man. And if you think that he's suffering in that area,
yes.
Do you know the purpose of a woman?
Come on.
Maybe you don't. Maybe we need to talk to you a little bit about a woman.
Teach.
That's right.
You know, women console men. Men who build stuff have a lot of pain. You can't build a world and come up out of the fire of hell and not have pain. I'm not talking about a playboy. A decent man don't want to be a playboy.
Come on.
He don't like that. And you're going to slander a man like Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan? Let me tell you what Minister Farrakhan told me to my face at his house. And we'll get back to what he was born to do in a second. He told me one day, people who slander him, the believer, the least of the believers will cut your tongue out your mouth for that. Ooh. He told me that.
Yes.
He also told them a story while he was sitting there, and this is in 2006 of June. I keep it on my wall so I can remember the notes from what he said. He talked about a lecture that he gave, and it was on the radio, and some hypocrites rose up and killed a little believer. I think it was in Delaware, I'm not sure. But he told the group, he put them on notice. He said the believers rose up and killed them hypocrites.
Wow.
He said,
That's right. That's right.
See, I'm going to help you make fight adjustments humbly.
Yes, sir.
When you hear somebody say something evil about any of your brothers.
That's right, brother.
But particularly Minister Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Farad Muhammad. You make damn sure you don't repeat that in the public.
That's right.
I'm getting a little angry on the inside as I talk about
That's
this.
all right, black man. It's a war. It's war
because
season.
You're so dumb.
Yeah.
I'm saying it as good as I can say it. You're just dumb.
Dumb. It's dumb.
What do we need the most in the black community? We need men.
Men.
Women all over the place.
Yes.
If a man wanted to be a playboy today, do you know how easy that is?
Teach, brother. Teach.
And you got children that are playboys today.
Our women don't have no damn self-esteem. They'll sleep with that. Some of them in the bed with dogs.
Right now.
You ain't proving yourself to be nothing by taking advantage of their ignorance, and they'll probably hate you when they come to consciousness.
They already do.
But in order for us to unite our community, beloved, we're going to have to end this misandry. The hatred of the black, the sparing and the tolerance of the brown germ or the weaker vessel. That was weak, what Saucy Santana said.
Yes, and Ninja.
Children want to sleep with me. Dudes want to sleep with me. See, really, we need, what I told my son, I told him about PD this week. See, we need some penis discipline.
Yes.
I know it's hard. I do. I really do. I really do. I'm
That's
not
right.
saying this with
That's right.
self-righteousness.
Come on, brother. It's real.
And it's everywhere, and they're offering it to you.
Yeah.
And if you're just doing any little thing, the women just open sesames, free sex.
Come on.
But since we want liberation, the radical thing that we have to do today, black men, we got to practice some penis discipline.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Which means we're going to have to leave them alone in their beds until they repent and come and help them get to consciousness.
Come on.
Do you know how awful it is? Do you know how awful it is, Brother Michael, to have all of these children running around here with no fathers? See what we did in Baton Rouge? We had something and we were brothers together, and the spirit and energy was high because we was doing what our original fathers were doing.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have to move into close proximity with one another and build something.
Yes, sir.
Our teacher, Minister Farrakhan, sacrificed his whole life to reestablish the thorn of fatherhood and godhood of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We tore the Nation of Islam down by repetitiously repeating the poisonous slander that was stuck into the nation by snakes. There was no reason to slander the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There's no reason. If you think about it and you look at your biological father with all of his shortcomings, you never would have got here if it weren't for that black man.
Man, come on, brother.
And I'm still pissed at that.
My father, my biological father, found his father with his brains blowed out everywhere. My father was what you classify as a mean, militant, some say gangster black man.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But what made him like that?
Yeah.
The little shortcomings that he have. I'll always love my father.
That's right, brother.
I would never be where I am today without my father.
Teach, brother. Teach.
I love my father too. If y'all can hear me, but
go ahead, brother.
I don't do is I don't hold no punches.
Yeah.
I don't cut no cards. If you're wrong, you're wrong. That's all the way down to my mother. I love her dearly. I'll take care of her, do anything for her. But I find that we don't speak up like we should.
That's right.
We don't carry ourselves in a manner to command the respect with the spirit that you move in.
Yes.
Not with your mouth, with your action.
Yes, sir.
Because I could talk to you on many topics, but my lack of righteousness is where I deter you from understanding where I'm coming from. And what I mean by lack of righteousness, I'm talking about at any given moment that you have the chance to make the proper decision and you go with your ego or lust.
Come on.
So I've been a single parent and I've been sexless on many occasions. My longest was 21 when my father passed away for about 3 years. I bumped up and made a mistake, but as of now, I don't date nor do I have sex because I think sex is a bigger drug and a bigger distraction than like cocaine, crack.
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. We have to understand that Zionism is brainwashing.
Come on.
And the game that's being played is your ability of not knowing how or never practicing being satisfied.
Yes.
And that's from every angle, from your clothes, your shoes, your looks, your wants.
Come on.
How low can you live? Who were we before they came and gave us these things that we don't really need, that block us from really seeing God for what I say God is? Because I've sat in the barbershop on an occasion and I listened to the Muslim preach and I listened to the pastor speak. And I had to cut them off. Because first of all, I don't play with no pastor and you talking about I'm but a man. Nah, you made a mistake. That ain't no mistake. You made a choice. Play with somebody else.
Preach.
When you take a position, you be ready for that position. Nor you stand down until you're ready.
That's right. Yes,
I had to break it down to them. I said, I got a religion for both of y'all. They said, what's that? I said, love. I said, get you the shirt off my back or you can get your brains blown out in the middle of the street by my family. But it's all going to be in righteousness. Every last bit of it. Because unrighteousness is getting rich from tithing, manipulation.
That's right.
Telling a woman that you love her when you really don't.
Teach, brother. Teach.
Not being able to relax when you should.
Teach, brother.
I'm just talking about myself, and I'm not gonna say.
Go ahead. You all right? You run it, black man. Run it.
I'm far from perfect, but my barber chair been my pulpit.
Come on.
And I always say, take your mind back. It's me versus me. I can't compare me to you.
That's right.
But what I can do is I have to pay attention to the spirit that you move in.
Yeah.
Now I'm not here to judge you, but I am here to make sure that I take care of my life. But I'm not here to separate. I'm here to congregate. But I have to move wisely.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I put it on us.
Yes.
I got an older brother that called me big brother, but I don't let up on him.
Right.
Because I come up on 20 acres and my great grandfather left behind, died suddenly, that my grandmother held on to, that my granddaddy came home from World War II. I'm mad.
Yeah.
But I had to find an understanding that was PTSD and so on and so forth. But I don't really make no excuses. You got my mother, you got his uncles. And I'm saying, what happened to the men? You know, we supposed to be the builders.
Yes, sir.
We can't demand nothing if we not doing our job.
Preach. Teach, brother.
So it comes a point where you got to remove your ego.
The ego. Come on.
I'm talking about become extremely humble.
Yes, sir.
Where sometimes understanding is not your own.
That's right.
And it might even look soft, but if you fighting from a spiritual aspect and you know that the war is not yours, the only thing that really exists is danger. You being in my presence about to attack me and I have to defend myself. But me having to respond to you for something that you did to me, you didn't do it to me, you did it to yourself.
So that's right.
And you just showed me what your spirit is. You taught me a lesson, which I look at as a blessing because God just showed me where I was weak at and where I needed to build. So I say it's us because our biggest distraction is women being able to use sex, which sex is been brought to us by Zionism for the purpose of our downfall. We just don't know. We just don't act it out. We just don't walk in a manner to whereas I can't have no women in here and I got a daughter and a son 10 months apart. I need to see my son see me as a man and I can't my daughter gonna think this life don't belong to me no more.
That's right.
That's right.
So what about grandparenting? Because parenting is hard, but devoting your time to what we used to, physical work, it somehow disappeared. And I mean, there's other industries that we work in, but do we grab these kids away from these tablets and put them in our business?
Come on.
And when we put them in our business and our women start talking, do we stand up as a man and we use the proper verbiage and the proper tone? And you just gotta tell her, it's time for you to sit down and mind your business, though. Because I'm doing my job. And if you take me from my job, what you gonna do is, like I told my son, if you don't listen to me, they got somewhere for you. I'm just trying to deter you right now. And anybody that's telling you that I'm doing you wrong, they don't love you. Because I had it easy. I had in-house women at 15.
Jeez, brother.
I cooked calves at school. I had the biggest room in the house. That wasn't the way I was supposed to be raised. But you're right. They do try to step on masculinity, but masculinity gets stronger. And when I talk about, being able to humble yourself to a place, my second kid's mom married the pastor of the church that she invited me to. My son said to my brother, man, my dad's still mad. He doesn't understand. I'm not mad because nobody did nothing to me. The only thing that they doing to me is when you come to me and tell me that you have an insecurity, because I come to see you at high school, because when I come see you at junior high school, you got to mind this is the bishop and the first lady. So when they come there and I get to the school, nobody has custody. So you can't tell me no, but somehow I get told no. I know how to play the long game. See, I ain't thinking that I'll be here at 18, 17, 19, 15. I don't know. But somehow I'm still here. So I play the long game. I mind my business and relax and stay low. Work for not my good, but the greater good of what's to come behind me. Because, you know, when you matter too much to yourself, sometimes you get moved off the chessboard because you ain't paying attention. And I'm gonna get out y'all way, but to go back to what I was saying, it's just not about us, and we make it too much about us that we can't lose our way, saying that they got in my way when my son come to tell me that he has insecurities. So I take off from work every day. Only thing I know is I could take you to the gym.
Right.
That's what y'all did. That's what I'm mad at.
Absolutely.
That's where we have a misunderstanding. That's where I didn't tell you how I felt, because I didn't want you angered in the household where you lose focus like my youngest son did. And he got 7 years left now because you can't hear logic. You can only hear feelings because this woman that's teaching you something that she don't even understand she's doing. And I understand that the love of God is, mother is God in the eyes of a child. But if she doesn't understand how we need to work together,
yes,
for what we created, we have to again be humble to a point where we just show our kids through our work and our silence.
My brother.
And our productivity.
So. My brother. Respect, brother. Brother James, I appreciate you being here, brother. I definitely appreciate your heart, because I felt your vibration all the way coming through, black man. You a barber, you said?
That's my good brother right there, Mike.
Yeah, man, I already know, brother. I hear it. you ain't say less.
I cut hair, but I do electricity, I do floor and plumbing.
Okay.
I do everything in the house, including take my old truck apart and put it back together. That's what I mean. Like my grandkids are to come here tomorrow. You 5, you gonna help me build a playground in the Black and y'all clubhouse.
Man,
I gotta make sure that when I'm cutting down trees, what my granddaddy didn't do with me, that I do with him, because the love that you go and get from your grandparents, it's something totally different from when it comes from your mother and father. It's like you could demonize them, but you can't really demonize me because they run to me, but I have to back them. In a very loving and understanding way, because I became wiser. I grew up as a man. I put childish things away.
Yes. Facts.
Yeah.
My brother, appreciate you, brother Jay. I see the association there. You know what I'm saying? You want to follow up, brother? But thank you, brother James, for your wisdom, brother. And it's received, brother. You know, because really it's right in alignment with what we're talking about in this accountability. That's one of the things that we talk about. You know, it's interesting you mentioned ego. We didn't talk, you know, we've been digging into that. That's a part of a growing conversation in what we're talking about. Humility. It's another part of a growing conversation that we're developing in this conversation on brotherhood. We know we got to share it and be humble. And even your point that you make about, you didn't say the word vulnerability, but sometimes it looked like you're weak, but you're not weak. You're showing another part of masculinity and being able to look at things from multiple different angles, brother. You know, we got to become men again. And I hear everything you saying, brother. And I appreciate even what you said about putting your hands in the dirt and getting your young people out there, getting them activated and making them work. That's one of the things we talking about down in Baton Rouge, brother Jay. You know, and brother Lewis, you know, we talk even with us being, I grew up with a mama. We had gardens, and you know, I work with my uncles. I work. That is not, we can't be so sophisticated that we can't. As a man, you gotta touch dirt some kind of place. You gotta do some type of work as a man. I don't care what anyone says. It don't have to be, you know, lifting railroad carts or nothing, but damn, you got to do something, whether it's around the house, whether it's somewhere to help you to dig in and connect with being that authoritative expression of your masculinity, Brother Jay. And then I know Brother Lewis, you was on a hot trail, but you were so hot you pulled Brother James out. Brother James popped out on us. Brother Jay, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think man, everybody hit a good point. You know, everyone. You know, and back to what you were saying earlier, you know, but the sassy, saucy guy.
Yeah.
It's like I said a couple weeks ago, we got to really ask ourselves why. Each and every brother, sisters too. You know, why do we find this type of stuff entertaining? These type of people entertaining? You know, because we've given them a platform.
That's right.
You know, maybe not anyone on here, but as a community. So, you know, like James and all the other brothers was saying, Harrison, it falls really back on us. You know, I have conversations oftentimes with brothers, and it's like the logic, like Tony was saying, their reality and logic is completely out the window. You know, some of them see no problem whatsoever with their behavior. You know, 30, 40 years old, chasing women. You know, you said something a couple weeks, Mike, about pursuit without no purpose.
Yes.
You know, it's a lot of that. James, you and I was talking about that, you know, hanging out at happy hour at the bar, just wasting time. You know, so we got to really like ask ourselves, why are you doing all these things that you're doing?
Right.
You know, if you want a woman to build with, what are you going to a bar for, looking for a woman, and then get mad when she go out to drink?
Teach, bro.
You know, so we gotta really look at our actions, and what we stand for, our character. You know, that got a lot to do with our character. You know, you can't come around, you know, doing all this switching and stuff like that, bro.
Right,
respectfully, we don't want to see all that.
That's right,
that's character, you know. If you're a man, if you're a man, you know, it's not about emotions, it's about listening. And Ava Muhammad talking about this, I think that's huge when we talk about community and family trust. We don't even trust each other, man.
That's right.
You know, I talked about that when I came out there. You know, it's nothing but money in the living room.
Nothing but money.
Know? But everything's still intact.
Everything.
You know, that's trust. That's love.
That's right. That's love. That's love, brother.
You know, that's community. That's building. That's brotherhood.
Yes.
You know, and you said a couple weeks ago, Brother Lewis, if you're not building together, you're battling together. That's what we got a lot going on right now.
That's
a lot of battling, a lot of sassiness. You know, you can't tell me what to do as a woman. I ain't got to listen to you as a man. You know, you need to listen to me. I'm masculine. Like, so when we talk about Black men specifically, about this topic of being head of the household, the women listen to it. The word that always comes up is respect, right? Black men live and die by respect. You know, it is what it is.
Absolutely.
But you got to be respectable in order to get respect.
That's right.
Through your actions.
That's right.
You know, through what you do in your day to day. All right. And so many of us, we're not really respectable stand-up type of men. That's right. You know, really males. That's about it. You know, not men at all. No form of leadership. It's an article. You know, I put it in here, but it's crazy that it's even a news topic talking about the rising of stay-at-home boyfriends. You know, so you got so many men that are just okay and comfortable with sitting at home, doing nothing, just having a high income earning woman. You know, she just taking care of everything. Like, that's back to what Brother Tony was saying. That's an internal problem. There ain't nothing I can say to you. You can, you know, Lewis, and nobody can jazz the words up to you. You got to feel that internal. They got to be in your character. You know, and so that's all I really got to say on the topic. We got to really look internal.
Wisdom as usual, Brother Jay, and said so beautifully and so calmly, you know, and I appreciate it so much. But you're right on point You know, there has to be a fire burning in you already, brother. You know, and if they ain't got no fire burning in you, you pretty much a saucy Santana kind of dude anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and this is what I'm saying. This is why these conversations that we're having, why this what we're doing here, which again, we're not trying to have a podcast, brother. You know, like this is what it is essentially. We're trying to build a brotherhood, man. You know what I mean? Like we're really trying to build a brotherhood and have authenticity. Be genuine. I need brothers. I'm attracted to brothers. I'm not, and we, of course, I don't need to say anything about sexuality when I say that. I don't have to put a disclaimer out there. I need to deal with Black men who are solid, that when I come around them, they help me to be solid. I'm attracted to, that's the nature of a real man. You can't be a real brother, a real man, and not want to be in the company of other real men, because we strengthen each other. We have a lesson that says, go strengthen your brother, make a weak brother strong. You see, you always make a weak brother strong. So the best way to be is in the company of men who will hold you accountable. As you pointed out, Brother James, you made a very good point. We got to hold each other accountable. We can't have, if you're a BA, I want to say it, you know what I want to say, you're a BA dude, then, and you know, and you're around some real solid soldiers, the solid soldiers going to run the BA out of you. They're going to run it out of you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're a bunch of BAs, and then all of y'all some BAs. You know, but if you got one or two or three soldiers, you get around those soldiers, they're going to tighten us all the way up. And that's real brotherhood, man. This feminization and this feminism, I'm coming to you, Brother Harrison, but feminism, Brother Lewis, you mentioned the simp. And I think, Brother Lewis's thought came to me while you was talking, that the simp is actually born out of the feminization. It's born out of the feminist movement. It's kind of like, Brother Lewis, you was talking, it just prompted me, you know, just like you get the uncle, you know, they used to say Uncle Tom, you know, and we know there's some distorted history there, but the coon, the cooner, you know, the coon and ninja, you know, excuse, I hope I didn't do that too good, but you know, but Samuel Jackson's character, you know, what's that ninja doing up there on that man? What's that nigga doing up there? You know, get that nigga out. That person is a manufactured creature, born out of the slavery suffering, born out of the oppression. When you look at these systems that the enemy has created, such as the system of feminism, it produced certain characteristics, not just in what's happening in our woman, but when you have a man, Brother James, who is led by sex. Such a very important point. This is such a very important point, brother. You know, for and I see you, Brother Jay. Such an important point to make that. And Brother Lewis, you said we gotta not share our bed. We're not talking weird talk here. We're talking about men who are saying, "Damn it, I am going to take back my power as a man." I remember the minister was teaching one time. He was like, "Brothers be begging for sex, baby, please, baby, please, baby, please, can I get a little bit? Can I get a little?" See, that's a simp. That's not a man. A man don't beg for no vagina. A man don't beg his woman to get. A woman should feel compelled to give herself to a man. But when you have produced a simp, then she running him by her bush. She running him at that altar. You see. And damn it, I'm telling all of us as brothers, you're talking about solution, Brother Ramzu. Listen, stop bowing down at a woman's thighs, brother. That's number one. Stop it immediately. Any black man that's listening, stop letting a woman run you with sex, man. You are totally lost your power as a man when you allow a woman to run you through the bed, brother. Hell no, soldier. No, that's a no, brother. You see, we have to govern that by disciplining ourselves, disciplining our appetites as brothers to say no. I don't give a damn how good she looked. You know, I was in the gym today, and the gym ain't nothing but a porn show nowadays. It's soft porn, you know, pretty much. If you're not careful, I walked in, me and two brothers. There was a beautiful sister up in the gym today. I mean, she was dynamically beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's all there everywhere. But this girl was so bad, she made concrete come up off that ground, Brother Lewis. I'm just joking with you, brother. Anyway, y'all didn't find my joke funny, but I thought it was hilarious. But anyway, the girl is beautiful. And we can't deny that there's an enticing beauty in women. The minister taught us of this. But I'm very, very disciplined to never let a woman think that I'm some hungry dog. I will not, I'm too dignified. I don't berate myself to be slopping up. I will do everything in my power. One, I'm only looking maybe once. And we told in the ranks that first look for Allah. You know, that second look is shaitan. You know, but my point is, brothers, that once you start taking back your power, we start to control the temperature and we raise the standard. Brother Harrison, you had your hand up, and then I think it was Brother Jay that had his hand up again. Brother Harrison, and I think you had it up a minute ago, Brother Harrison. Please forgive me, brother.
Yes, sir. See what I was saying about the logic, right?
Yes, sir.
As men, to become a man, you have to embody the spirit of truth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the integrity that the man brings to the household. And some of these kids, that's what they're looking for. Even when they getting online, looking at these videos, because a lot of them have noticed that their parents are lying to them, right?
Yeah.
Not being honest, not being truthful. But as a man, this is what we have to challenge these lies with. We have to challenge it with what you know to be the truth. When I was growing up, and I'm quite sure a lot of you brothers heard this, we used to be told the truth was going to set us free. Free from what? We got to be bonded to lies. This is what they're giving our children. Nothing but lies. That's what the slander is. When you slandering somebody, you're lying on them. Well, how do we challenge the lies? You have to challenge it with the truth. And only a man living as a man in his integrity can provide that truth. We can't depend on women to give our kids the truth because feelings are deceptive. Very deceptive. This is why the man has to have a sense of integrity to embody the spirit of truth. That's the logic that we got to put over the vain emotions.
That's right.
I'm not going to try to convince any man or any child that I'm telling the truth. I'm going to tell him the truth, and then life is going to prove the truth. Therefore, he can't say ain't nobody told him. This is our job. We're supposed to be the ones that give them the truth and let them see it for themselves. So at that point, that's what I mean by logic.
That's right.
That's what you get with discipline. When you practice discipline, you got arms way, right? You ain't chasing the woman in the bar like Jay just said. You know better. You can't expect her not to be what you met her as. You shouldn't go to a bar looking for a righteous woman. That's not what's there. That's probably a woman that's looking for a good time. Unless you looking for a good time yourself and you being honest, that's all she's worth. But if you looking for substance because you got substance, then it's going to be something that's going to be attracted to you because you look like a man of substance. That's what the logical sense of being a man is to me. That's what I was meaning when I was saying that earlier.
Absolutely, brother. We definitely picking up what you throwing out there, brother, for sure. 100% beautiful point. Brother Jay?
Yeah, to answer, Brother Lewis' question and kind of the topic you was just touching on. I think it's from lack of purpose. You know what I mean? When you lack purpose as a man, you begin to develop structure. So when you have a structure, Brother Lewis, that's gonna hold what you're working towards in place.
That's right.
Right. So now you don't have time to do things that's not really in alignment. And I talk about that all the time, alignment. That's a lot of our problems between male and female, in my opinion.
That's right.
This new westernized version or false ideology, if you will, of love. I like you, you like me. How long does that really last?
Right.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
See, the analogy I like to use is if we are aligned, we have a mutual goal. So we teammates, right? And as teammates, I may not like how Michael, run the one.
That's right.
He may mess up the chemistry when we on the court together.
Right.
But we still got that mutual goal of getting that championship ring.
That's right.
You understand? So we don't have to necessarily see eye to eye to get back on track.
That's right.
But
that's
and the thing now is we've normalized this thing about external validation through social media, social engineering. That's what social media is like. So social media now is it's become almost like your digital report card about who you are. You know what I mean? You don't even, I mean, most of the women you see now, some men too, unfortunately. You got grown ass men talking about they doing a get ready with me, you know, but you know, everything's aesthetically pleasing about perfection. So we value so much looks that you'll desire to chase these women off of pixels.
That's
It's
right,
not,
brother.
you know, you'll be afraid to approach them in real life, but you'll be glued essentially through pixels.
Teach,
Right.
brother.
So we got to really look at these things that we value. A lot of stuff, you know, I'm really not up on it. You know, I see some of the stuff, of course, because, you know, I'm on social media. Even YouTube is social media. So certain things just pop up. But again, we got to just individually, right? Because once you have that knowledge of self and who you become individually, like Brother Harrison was saying, you'll naturally start attracting that, like you brothers, naturally.
Right.
Case point.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that begins to form your community. So certain things just not going to be allowed in the community. Like I sent the video to one of my brothers, and they said, "Man, you kind of unaddressed, aren't you?" You know, but based off of the community.
That's right.
Indirectly, a certain standard begins to be set.
That's right.
That's just how it works. So we just got to keep pressing the line and being a change that we want to see.
Yes, sir.
That's
could
what
I just
yes, sir. Brother Lewis, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And Brother Lewis, I just want to say one last thing, and I want to drop the link in here. See, in China, they banned a lot of the social media, quote unquote, influencers from talking on certain topics unless they had degrees on it.
Wow.
You know, I'll send the article, but that should let you know about how deep social engineering is and how much people pay attention to the social media for the news.
Absolutely, brother. Brother Lewis.
Very, very powerful what Brother Jay was saying, because he raised the question that I put in the chat. But one of the things is that it says in the Quran, Allah creates nothing without aim and purpose.
That's right.
So we should make this fight adjustment as brothers. You should not pursue any woman without aim and purpose. Yes. You should consider what it is you want her to do and how she's going to help your team and how she's going to help you build something significant.
That's
right. And I know it takes some maturity to think like that, but clearly Brother Jay is, and I don't think you have to be 80 years old before you get it. But this would help us make our families, because you mentioned the Black family, Brother Michael.
Yes, sir.
This would help us make our families stronger by willing what we want into existence. You know, like if I go and apply to play point guard for the Dallas Mavericks or for Lakers or something, I can't fill that spot. I can't even get on the team. I'm not qualified. So why do we have the qualifications to be your wife so low? Based on what? And this comes oftentimes from us not studying ourselves enough. I think it was Brother James that was talking about how he spent some time alone.
Yes.
This time alone allows you to get acquainted with who you are and what you really need.
Right there with you.
A lot of times when we're young, or just not school right, because nobody mentors Black men on how to vet women properly.
That's right.
So we get caught up in all kind of situationships.
Yes, sir.
Just stuff, you know.
Teach.
But I thank God for this show, We Must Be Brothers First, because it's helping us create a curriculum and a criteria for how to vet the kind of woman we need. And every one of us is different. So some of us need things that others may not necessarily need, and vice versa. Right. And some of us come with certain strengths that different ones of us may not come with. But we all benefit from the contagious thoughts that are shared every week on this We Must Be Brothers First. And I would ask everyone, if you don't have a copy already of We Must Be Brothers First, get a copy of We Must Be Brothers First, enter the dialogue, and also get a subscription to the Final Call newspaper.
Absolutely, brother. And I would also include, get a copy of The Message to the Black Man.
Absolutely.
Get a copy of Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived, How to Eat to Live, Book 1 and Book 2. All of them contain genetic information that will help you tap into your genetic coding as a man. Believe me, you see, because one, it helps you to confront that brown or that negative side of nature. Not talking about just white people, but the embodiment of negative, immoral character. You know, we have to really properly be able to identify with what that is, and then be able to go to war effectively with it. You know, so again, this subject today, which is just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg, because we really want to go deep into it. This thing on feminism is really the root of our discussion, and how it has ill-affected us, as men, because it has had an adverse effect on Black men, a severe effect on Black men in lowering our standards. We in fact, abolishing standards has effect on our women. It's totally taken over our women. Again, that's the aim of the enemy, is to destroy the man by using the woman. So the scripture says, kill the male, spare the female. One would think the sparing was something positive, but the truth of the matter is you're sparing her to serve your agenda, your purpose. And that's exactly what he's doing. And the killing of the male is not just necessarily physically, even though it ultimately happens with us, but the killing of the male is to kill the identity, the masculine identity that's in the man. Kill your drive, kill your desire to have a purpose-driven life, to be a leader, to be responsible, to be a family man. Kill your desire to want to have a woman. You know, some brothers have given up on the idea of love. You know, and that's not a healthy place. That's a toxic existence. You know, kill your motivation, you know, to be a father, because of all of the abuse and unfortunate realities that Black men are facing today, just trying to be fathers, the abuse, how the system is rigged against Black men, Black fathers. It's so many things that we're up against as men. That's one of the reasons why when we put this together with the help of Allah, you know, the idea was to create this space where we could develop a brotherhood to fortify each other. Because what we're up against, fighting it individually, is not healthy. You're just not going to win. We're just not going to be as successful. So when you use that team analogy, brother Jay, you're right on point. The beautiful thing about true brotherhood is that you're looking for the new point all the time. You know what I'm saying? You develop a behavior and a habit of looking for the brother that can get the shot off. You're looking for the brother who is the best player in that position all the time. Because we know, I think you said it a few weeks ago, Brother Jay, you're talking about, it was a terminology that deals with how we can sometimes get locked into a position. And it was a certain way that you worded it, but I'm not going to do a very good job of it, but I think we can get to dry the essence of it. But there's a thing that happens with us is we get locked into a role and then we don't make room. We don't keep the cycle moving. That has to happen within our dynamic as a people, particularly as a brotherhood. We have to have the mind to search for talent and gifts in our brother, look for that, and then immediately place those gifts and talents, activate them, not hold them back, activate those gifts and talents so we can keep moving the ball forward. We can keep going forward as a people. You know, this subject is something that I encourage you, brothers, just to get on this subject of looking at how this enemy has created this time bomb, this nuclear, I would call it this very toxic system of feminism. Everything that we're looking at, I promise you, in my personal studies, damn near everything that we're looking at right now. I'm talking about Saucy Santana. I'm talking about looking at young boys. It was a sister on the internet, you know, had her son in a dress, you know, who's giving justification for this. I think the brothers might have put it in one of our posts. You know, you're talking about every one of these areas are driven by this empowerment given to our woman by our enemy. And so we got to know what we're fighting so we won't be so heartbroken, so you know, disappointed that we won't know how to fight, man. You know, and I say fight because that's what it is. And the part of that fight is, as we become more educated as brothers on what's happening, then we can attack it. You know, it's just like right now we on this, you know, I don't know if anybody grew up in my era, you grew up and you start saying something a certain way. You got this sister over here that will be like, who you think you is? You know, she start rolling and twirling and all kinds to shut you down. All of that comes out of what the enemy, the culture that the enemy has created, the engineering that the enemy has created in our community. So it's war for the black man to reestablish his position, to regain his throne. This is warfare. It's not gonna, ain't nobody gonna come up and give it to us. Nobody gonna come up, the white man ain't gonna come up and say, hey, black guys, I understand what you're going through. Let me help you guys get there. Nobody's coming, bro. Nobody, ain't nothing outside of us gonna come and set up and come help us to be what we need to be. If we're waiting on some mystery God, he's not coming, bro. Ain't nothing happening outside of our initiation. Nobody's gonna, the system ain't gonna change. I'm not talking about feminism because I'm hoping that the white man listening and I'm hoping that everybody listening, they're gonna destroy feminism and we can go to Congress and the Democrats and the Republicans say, we're gonna get rid of this type of brand of feminism that's hurting the black, this damn, it would be absolutely counterproductive, economically counterproductive. It would dismantle every system that he has, from the prison industrial complex, the educational system. Every one of these systems are reliant upon what he has done, bruh. So what the hell we expect? We know he's not gonna fix it. So who's responsible? Brother Ramsey made a good point. We're responsible, bruh. It's on us. Ain't nothing coming. It's on us right now. And if we gotta get online, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm on the internet, not because I'm giving a damn about no likes and subscribe, because I know I'm shadow banned, meaning that I'm saying words that are not lining up with what their algorithmic acceptance is. You know what I'm saying? Shit. They're not gonna accept this brother get on here talking about integration has failed or anything that sounds like I got one, stop slanging D. I actually talked about that. You know, I put a little short up there, brother, stop slanging D. You know, take control over your sexual appetite, brother. Don't let no woman control you. And I said, sister, stop slanging V all over the damn internet. They're not going to accept that. But guess what, bro? Guess what? And this is what I tell brothers. If you are an intelligent brother today, you got wisdom like the brothers on this call, we should be all over that's a battleground right now. All over the damn internet, putting out as much knowledge and information as we possibly can. Everywhere we go, we should be putting out light. If it's a brother putting out light, reposting stuff, we gotta go to goddamn war, bruh. This shit is not, this is for keeps, excuse my expression and my passion, but it's for keeps, man. Ain't nothing coming for us. The God, in my view, has intervened and awakened up in us responsibility. You don't sit, oh Lord, please come help me. And he's showing he done gave you the light. He done showed you a way. Oh Lord, please bless us. And he already showed you how to go plant the seed in the earth. He's looking at you like you're a fool. And there's a passage in the Quran that says the most hateful sound in the ears of Allah is the braying of an ass. And I went and looked it up. I really couldn't find out anything online about that for years. But it just occurred to me that is just somebody constantly, oh, help me, please. Oh, help me, please. Oh, Lord, bless me, please. Oh, and he already gave you the tools, bro. He's given us the tools in each other. What I'm hearing in you is a tool, is a benefit for me. The interdependency, it's inspiring me. It's encouraging me. It's driving me. It's motivating me. It's holding me accountable as a brother. You see what I'm saying? My brother James, you pointed out about, about preserving yourself. That's what I'm gonna say, because that's what we're gonna call it. I'm preserving myself too, brother. Ain't nobody getting none of this. You know what I'm saying? Like the sisters used to say, you know, I'm not just gonna be running out here, man. I need to settle within myself and really make sure Michael understands everything that Michael needs to know about Michael, because you'll jump off into a situation and it's not healthy for you. And we as men, We are projectors into the future. We are looking for the future. That's why divorce is devastating to a black man. Nobody talks about it though. Nobody gives a damn about it, again, because feminism doesn't allow for black men to be even supposed to even have a damn feeling or any type of being any type of way hurt or vulnerable or any type of way affected in any kind of ill way. So that's the society that we live in. Nobody give a damn about the black man. I'm not making a blanket statement. I'm saying that in a social way, the way that we've been conditioned, the way we've been made to feel even about each other, brother. Nobody gives a damn about how you eat. Right now, most of us, I didn't win months and weeks. Sometimes I may not get a call. Thank God I got some brothers, that might pick up the phone, text me and say something, but you'd be surprised how lonely we are. You see, this is the existence that we live in. See, so we got to start disciplining ourselves and in a way, and that's what we're talking about, PD, brother Lewis, penis discipline. I think that's what you called it. That's what we have to start. Penis discipline, appetite discipline, mental discipline, what we taking in the information. Brother Jay, I caught the video, that you sent me late, about how, we need to look at this even the social media, what our intake is. I think that's the main part of that. What we're taking in, we got to be disciplined. You can't be on the internet looking at naked women and think that you're going to be able to discipline your sexual appetite, bro. You ain't going to do nothing but build up that demonic energy in yourself. And before you know, you lusting and you don't have any self-control. I love my self-control. I'm going to tell you straight up, brother. I love it. I appreciate that a woman can't move me like that. Unless I choose. If I want that to think like that, that's on me. But you ain't just gonna jump your ass up in front of my face, and then I'm just gonna be running around you like a hound dog. Hell with that, bro. On everything, on God, bro. You know what I'm saying? Later for that, excuse my expression, I take off my frames because I don't know. I think it makes me look more serious. But I mean what I say, and I say what I mean on that because we got to stop that, bro. I'm cool with that. Whatever the God put in my life, then I want to make sure that I have cleaned up my energy sufficiently enough as a man. That way I can see straight, because all kinds of things try to attach itself to you when you're a man. And like I said, our recovery is not the same. And any of us that have been down through there know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not the same recovery. We don't recover like everybody else recovers. You know what I'm saying? Or just jump off to a new ninja. We sometimes, if we're serious men, then we have a period that we got to heal and really heal to recalibrate ourselves to move forward. So this subject, brother, is one that I encourage you to study. It's a book out by a very brilliant brother. I'm going to pull up the name of the book on this subject of feminism. And it's called by Delano Squires. The Vanishing Black Family. And when I tell you the brother is really prolific in how he laid this out. I mean, he laid it out, you know what I'm saying? In terms of the historical roots of feminism. And of course, we know where it came from, white women. And Brother Tony even mentioned it, he narrowed it down to the small hats women, and how that grew over the period of time. I remember studying about Sojourner Truth, ain't I a woman? I remember that. We thinking this is some deep stuff, but not understanding that she was being manipulated. You know what I'm saying, bro? We just got to look at all this stuff, brother, and take a look at it all over again. And it don't matter if they mad at us. I don't care if all of the Transformers, I would hope that line up if you want to, Transformers. It don't matter, bro, that you mad because we don't agree with that, because we know you're cosplaying. See, we know that you're not a real woman. We know that, and our sisters need to know what real men are attracted to. We got to change the standard as men. You stop chasing these women that's got paint all over their damn face and you don't know what they is. Stop giving them credit, man. Stop validating that, brothers. I'm not talking to you brothers on the call, because I know you brothers ain't on that. But I'm talking to them other brothers out here that Brother Lewis was talking about. Stop validating that. Stop validating her going pumping injections into her booty to make her booty look good, and it really stinking and diseased now because you done put all kinds of disease in your body to aberrate your body. I grew up in an era where girls didn't even wear a lot of makeup. You know what I'm saying? And really, you just know they was fine. They didn't have a whole lot of stuff in their head. You just know that this woman is a naturally beautiful woman. If she decided to enhance herself with some makeup, that was okay. But you knew who she was up under that. The transgender community, the transgender and homosexual and gay community has ill affected our women so much that most of them, what they call, Brother Jay, they call that a theatric makeup that they're putting on is our woman imitating the homosexual or transgender men who hate their guts, who's in competition with them. See, so we gotta, but it's on us. If we keep eating it, they keep putting it on the table, we keep eating it, then damn it, we deserve what we getting. I say the movement is stop eating. Stop eating it. Discipline yourself. You gotta fast. You gotta pray. Discipline yourself. You ain't gotta run and jump into something every time you see it. I promise you it ain't worth it. It ain't nothing but a damn headache at the end of the day, especially if you're a real man. Because a real man is gonna build a woman up under him into his leadership, you know? And then this is no takeaway from no woman. She's gonna come up under his leadership in a system that he puts in place and they create together. If you a man and you just getting with a woman and she got her whole system in place and she doing her own thing, that's somebody else's woman, brother. That ain't your woman. You see, that's somebody else's woman. She got her own idea what she thinks a woman is and where she thinks she need to be going. But if she's your woman, she gonna come under and come with you, and y'all gonna join, and she gonna come under your leadership principles. And even if she got something going on, that's okay. But she gonna always subordinate herself to your leadership and your counsel, man. God damn it, she won't listen to you. How the hell she gonna be your woman? You know, so these are the kind of things that we need to look at. This subject, again, of feminism, we got to go to war against it so that we don't allow our communities to constantly be destroyed. Nephew, did you want to say something before we get ready to close out? I see you down there, and I just felt the pull to ask you.
Yeah. I didn't necessarily have much to say, but I will speak on something just from an athlete's point of view that we got to remove the idleness of our body and submit ourselves to God. Most athletes, we worship our bodies to the point where it will remove us from submitting ourselves to God. And, you know, that I think that in some case, you know, like you said about the gym, you can tie that into, you know, the sexuality thing where the men want to go to the gym. We always want to have our shirt off. The women want to go to the gym. We always want to show our physique. It ain't even about exercising in the mental part, you know, because exercise is mental. And I know this might be a little bit off from the main topic, but I'm an athlete. I work out a lot. I'm always around the youth. I got group chats with the youth, with kids. I was recently a coach. I've been moving. I just moved to Houston. I've been moving around with the youth a lot out here. I've been talking to a lot of kids on the bus, and I'm studying these kids. And like I said, when it comes to the gym and just, because I used to do this, you know, when I was in school, I walk around the campus with my shirt off. I'm swole. I'm cut up. You know, that's ego. Like the brother was speaking about, that's ego. That ain't got nothing to do with God. I done built my body up to a certain stage. Now I'm boosted up my ego, you know, but I just wanted to say that we gotta not submit to our bodies because our bodies can change. You know, our bodies can change at any moment. My body changed at a moment. In a moment, my body changed. And, you know, and then I realized the confidence wasn't real. It was built on a fake foundation, you know. So I'll just say when it comes to being modest and putting some clothes on, you know, so we can stop promoting sexuality, is we'll be able to do that easier for the men too, because modesty ain't just about women. Men are supposed to be modest too, covered up, not walking around with your chest out and your everything out and tight shorts, and you know you seeing the form of your everything and whatnot like that. And that plays a part that a lot of people don't talk about in, you know, this sexual thing. It's just we got our kids out here looking like grown women. You know, like I said, I was just high school, so I'm seeing like how these kids dressing. Got the young girls out here looking like they grown, dressing them, their hair up, them gonna makeup, eyelashes, like and stuff like that. We're not realizing that we're putting our kids in an environment or a world where pedophilia is damn near You might walk outside. You might walk outside your house and go downtown and see 100 and some people. 30 of them people might be pedophiles, but don't nobody know. You feel me? So we got to cover up. And I think the best way to cover up is to remove the idleness from your body and submit your will to God. And it'll be easy for you then. So covering up, I promote covering up. And for myself too, because I make content. And I used to make a lot of content with my shirt off and whatever, stuff like that. But I'm starting to get to the point where, okay, I can't it's time to cover up, as a man too. I can't want a modest wife or want a wife that's going to be covered up. And then I'm on social media, showing all my tattoos, showing everything, So I'll say cover up is covering up for both sides is protection. And I think we need to promote that more. But that's all I have in my mind today.
Yes, well, thank you, nephew. And thank you, all you brothers who joined the call tonight and all of the, all of the contributions of thought, brothers. We leave here. One thing that I will say as we close out, we have to build something in a reality of our own. And that is really, I think Brother Ramzu said it earlier, which I think is really the ultimate solution and aim of where we need to go. We have to create environments of our own. We have to create institutions of our own. We got to create communities of our own. That's the first part of what we have to do while we're still within this system, if you will, that's the predominant or controlling system that we live in. We have to create spaces where in those spaces we can grow to strength. Because when there's a constant adjutant, constant toxin is in the environment, it's always having an adverse effect on you as a man, as a brother. And on our families, so creating spaces is very important. Creating spaces of brotherhood and communing like what we're doing here, but even in person as we did in Baton Rouge, and we'll be doing many more of those kind of engagements, throughout the country, really. But, it does something. It does something to you energetically. It inspires you. It inspires you to get around a brother that's moral. You know what I mean? A brother that ain't a pussy clown, a brother that ain't out, let's go get these hoes. You know what I'm saying? A brother that's talking on some high science and some wisdom, and and so your mind is just constantly engaged and growing, you're glowing, your skin glowing, your body glowing, some brother dropping some light on you about your health, it's light everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So when that light being dropped like that, you can't help but to get stronger. So that's one active thing. One other thing that I would encourage, brother, is that Brother Lewis said, write. I would say read along with that writing. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that we start doing a little more reading, or whether we get an audio book or something, we need to be taking light into our head on a daily basis. You can't really afford to go a day without putting something in your head, brother, that's going to elevate you in a society that is constantly spewing out filth and indecency every single moment. I don't care where you are. You in a gym, you in a grocery store, you're gonna see these nasty spanking spandex pants running around here. Wherever you go, you're gonna see something that's disrespecting you. Because what you need to understand, that it's really disrespect of the man. It's not respecting you to act and control and put yourself out there like that. So reading and writing and studying, brother, and then get on some, conversations with your brothers that are doing the same thing. This is what this is, because this keeps us sharp. This is where we spar. This is where, we notice that on here, we ain't about disagreements, and it ain't that we all necessarily 100% agree on everything that we all saying, but that's not the basis or the foundation or the system that we're creating here. What we're doing is we're trying to dig into the mind and the intelligence of each other and just take a look. Hell, let me look at what brother James is saying. Let me look at what my brother's saying. My brother's putting down something that I need to look at. There's something in what brother's saying. Let me hear my brother. I'm not weighing my brother. I'm not classifying my brother. I'm not judging, hey, good job, brother. No, I'm listening because whatever he has to say is important, because that man has life experience. And I got to respect his life experience and his path, because it's something that I'm supposed to get, especially if I came within proximity of my brother. The fact that I can even look at a brother and I'm in proximity is a sign that there's an opportunity for me to gain something from my brother. So I'm saying that using that example, but it really applies to every situation. Go find some young people. These are solution steps. I'm going to close out with some solution. Go find somebody young. If you ain't got any children, find some children. Go find somebody in the neighborhood, somewhere in the community. Brother nephew and I on a recruitment right now. I'm just nephew, recruit them all. Let's get. You got some young brothers that he pulling to recruit them, and then we just gonna get them together and we're gonna start building with them. You know, we ain't gotta convert them into no religion. They ain't gotta do what they want to do. If they're attracted to it, that's their choice. I just want to get around them and pour a principle on them, brother. I ain't got time for all of that other stuff. Just put a principle on the brother. And the more principles you put that are good, upright, that are healthy, the young brother will love you for it. You will love him, and then that will grow and grow into other young brothers that he may encounter as he becomes a young man and a man in life. So these are the steps that we have to take, and that's not hard. That don't cost you no lot of money, bro. It don't cost you a lot of money. You know some women around here, like my brother said, you don't got to go lay their mama down. Just go, let me take your son over here with me, because that's your responsibility, brother. That is your duty, man. You know what I'm saying? They belong to us, brother. That's our duty, man. You know, and go grab that your little brother up and say, hey, little brother, come on over here with me and spend some time. Get away from your mama. You know what I'm saying? Your mama good. You don't got to say it like that, but you know what I'm saying, brother. You know, you essentially putting him into some masculine energy and let him feel what a man is like and what it's like being around a real man, and then drop a principle on the brother. And then when you drop that principle on that brother go home and he be like, your mama like, what'd you learn, boy? I learned this, I learned that one, I should be laying up under you all night. I should be sleeping in the bed with you or something. It's so many things a man can teach a young boy that will help redirect his life. I had brothers when I was growing up in the streets, man. It was some of the street brothers put a lot of light in my head. I love them brothers, man. They put something in my head, brother. One brother told me, don't ever feel sorry for yourself. He was at the pool. I don't know what he was on. We was walking around. I'm a young cat out in the street. He like, brother, don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. One of the greatest wisdoms that I could have ever received. Because once I stopped feeling sorry for myself, which is a feminine trait, then I can be productive. It don't mean that I don't hurt and have pain and things that I got to work out, but I can't be sitting up like a little and whining about it as a man. You got to be proactive as a man and do something about it. So brothers, building something, that's the key to all this, putting our hands in the dirt and building something constructively. We will, and I'm not saying got to, we will overcome all of these things that are in our path. We were built for this. We were born for this. I'm telling you, every brother on this call, every brother listening that will hear this in the future, you built for this, man. We built to win. We don't got to be fighting each other, brother. I don't care what your faith is, what your walk is, what your background. I don't give a damn. None of that. Show me that what you have is wisdom by how you treat your brother. Show me that you got wisdom in whatever your faith, tradition, or walk is. Show me that it led you to the highest principle of living existence. And that is being a brother, man. So I sound off with that, brother. Thanking you, brothers. We'll be back next Thursday. We're going to continue to build, man. Thank you so much for tuning in and participating in all of the wisdom that you brothers share. Peace.
Peace. All right.